presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Yeah, I was like, man, they haven't started
However,
yet.
the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion pill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex, but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives.
Pro-choice or pro-life?
Everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did,
I'm pro-choice.
I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this.
Because like I would never do it in my own personal life, but I understand there's nuances to life where that should be somebody's own personal decision. So that's how I kind of look at it. Like me and my wife definitely want to do it, but
it was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas,
I would say, like there's a certain point of the trimester
is different,
pregnancy
where different, but they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now,
beyond
the states control it. That's the vote of the people.
Having
like Ronald Reagan, I believe
you can have
in
abortion at any
exceptions.
time.
I am a person that believes.
No, definitely they should cut it off at a certain time. You know, I think when it develops into,
but I believe in the exceptions.
You know, being like you said, there's a certain timeline. Like, it shouldn't be happening. But yeah, there's certain situations I think that
you have to get elected also.
You know, when people have them,
that has to do with other things. You got to get elected.
Because I was talking to some social workers where they, they were telling me they seen so much stuff where they were like pro-life at first, but seeing the kind of things they saw, they were like,
former governor of Virginia,
I have a whole new understanding of why people do sometimes do it if they're not mentally ready or stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. You know, speaking to people like that, it kind of changed my mind.
What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe.
Okay.
That's
this idea that they were all
against it going to day game right now.
And this is the guy who says the state should be able to
stepping it up on this one.
Hey, he looks sharp.
They definitely did their prep.
Hey, he looks sharp.
You don't even know whether you're pregnant or not. You cannot see a doctor and have him decide.
Would you say they give him a drilling shot?
You gave him that drilling shot. You know he gave him
the idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral.
I'm actually impressed.
The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that, but here's the deal. There's a lot of young women being raped by their spouses, brothers and sisters. It's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. Consider the most dangerous place anywhere in the world.
They're not playing around with the moderation.
It up, and these killers are coming into our country. And they are raping and killing women.
Yeah, they're giving them strict time limits because usually they be talking over each other.
Now back with the states.
Sure they don't talk over each other.
In many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. But they're voting, and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which frankly they didn't. But they would have. Everybody wanted brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back. Many presidents had tried to get it back. I was the one to do it. And again, this gives it the vote of the people, and that's where they wanted it. Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states. I'll let you do
man
that. This is the same
veer off the topic.
7 states have no.
But it was pretty clever, though, man.
On how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how
Okay.
late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. First time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation.
Biden?
Third time is between the doctor,
Sharpest I've ever heard
between the woman
long
and the
time.
state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia,
Yeah, that's why.
put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it.
Months to me,
So
that's
he's
8 to 9
willing
months to me.
to,
That's
as we
almost
say, rip the
full baby
baby
to
out of
me.
the womb in the 9th month.
Yeah,
and kill the
definitely
baby.
too far.
Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
That is simply not true. The Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period, period, period.
Under Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years. And it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme
Joe
Court.
applying pressure
Takes credit
tonight.
for taking it away.
Yeah.
What's he going to do?
Yeah,
What's he going to do? In fact,
I'm impressed
if
with
the
Biden.
MAGA Republicans,
Joe must
he gets
have took some
elected,
notes from
and the
Dame and
MAGA
shit
Republicans
last night.
control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban
Telling you, I don't
on
know what they
abortion,
gave him. They
period,
gave him
across the board.
sports.
It's 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10.
Dame
something
came with the
very, very
Moody's
important.
stats last
He
night.
didn't sign that bill. I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security.
Biden might be screwed on this one.
Given that, why should voters?
I would have left the stage. They would have asked me this.
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement.
I wonder
Not
what-
only
I wonder what's gonna be the
changed all
response.
of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. Significantly, by the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer.
Let me see how many
illegally.
immigrants have
It's better
crossed
than when
over
he
to
left
Biden's
and I'm going to continue to move into a total ban
presidency.
on
Yeah, I definitely want to see them numbers.
relative
me
to
see.
what we can do.
I knew it was an
more
influx,
border
though. I ain't gonna
patrol
lie.
And more
No, it was a lot.
asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country. The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number
Says
of
that
terrorists
10
coming
million.
into our country
10
right
million,
now. All terrorists, all over
goddamn.
the world, not just in South America,
Look
all
up
over
on
the
this
world. They
website.
come from the
There's
Middle
10
East,
million,
everywhere, all over the
immigrants
world. They're
crossed
pouring
over
in.
since,
And this guy
during Biden's
just left it open. And he
presidency.
didn't need legislation because I didn't have
That's a lot.
legislation. I said,
Yeah, that
close the
is.
border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for
They
president.
don't
Didn't
endorse
Trump-
both of y'all.
London, to speak to him. But look, we had the safest
Look, we gonna
border
play
in
it safe,
history.
endorse them
Now we
both.
have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the
That's the
place,
one thing I
including
would
the
push
people
back
that are
on
coming
Trump
out
was,
in
Thank you, President
caravans.
Trump.
on his first
President Biden?
presidency, he
The
promised
only
to build a wall.
terrorist who's done anything crossing the border
Remember?
is one who came along and killed 3 under his administration, killed an Al Qaeda person come in and his administration, killed 3 American soldiers, killed 3 American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through, but the idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people, that's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating, he's lying.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in
What do you think
American
about
history, unquote.
the theory?
Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant
I jerk
in
at,
America,
the
including
reason why
those
the
who have
Democrats
jobs, including those
borders
whose
so that way they
spouses
can allow
are
those
citizens,
immigrants to
and
be
including those
able
who have lived here for decades?
so
And
they can
if
kind
so,
of
how will you do
combat
it?
against Trump
Just one
in the
second.
election.
He said we killed 3 people.
I didn't catch that
People we
last
killed are
piece that you said.
al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest
But the reason
terrorists,
why the
biggest
Democrats
terrorists
allowed
anywhere in
the
the world.
immigrants to come
And it had a huge
was
impact
to
on
be able to allow
everything,
them
not
to vote
just
so that
border,
way they
on
can
everything.
get more
He's the one
voters
that killed people with
to
a
go against
bad water,
Trump.
including hundreds of thousands
Yeah,
of people
I don't
dying.
believe that because
And
you know you got
also
to have like
killing
the
our
IDs
citizens
and all
when they
that stuff
come
to
in.
vote.
We,
You know,
we
so
are
it's
living right
There's some,
now
no, there's
in a rat's
in
nest.
California,
They're
I
killing our
believe.
people in New York, in California, in
I gotta call
every
up. I gotta look up
state
the
in the
article. But
union.
there's an
Because
article
we
I
don't have
was
borders
reading that
anymore. Every
certain
state
states,
is now a
usually the
border.
blue states,
And because of
like,
his
they don't
ridiculous,
require ID in
insane,
order
and
to
very
vote.
stupid policies, people are coming in and
nah,
they're
because
killing
you know
our
I'm in a
citizens
pretty.
at a
I lived in
level
a
that
couple
we've
blue
never seen.
states,
We
man.
call
You
it
know, like
migrant crime.
you have to have the
I call it
ID to
Biden
pretty much
migrant
go
crime.
to that
The,
They're
ballot,
killing
and they
our
got to match it
citizens
up.
at a level that we've never seen
let
before.
me
And you're reading it
try to
like these
find
3 incredible young
Yeah,
girls
let me
over
see.
the last few
the
days.
article.
One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and he just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen
See.
anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places.
Yeah, I'm
Our
gonna lie. They
veterans are on the
destroyed
street. They're dying
New York
because
City.
he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all. And he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved, choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by
Thank you,
allowing
President Trump.
all of these people to come in.
President
And it's a very
Biden,
sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example,
What?
veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits,
You
they're
know
all
what?
being
You know what
covered
they should
now.
do when
And
they
he opposed, his group
do these
opposed that.
debates
We're also in a
kind of
situation
evolve it
where
into
we
the
have great
modern
respect for
modern
veterans.
time.
My
They should have
son
a
spent
fact
a year
check.
in Iraq, living one next door on those
Yeah,
burn
no,
pits.
definitely.
Flew
I
back
was because it was funny
streets
you said that because I was like
Coma.
listening to some
I
of
was
the things that
recently
they're bringing up and it's like actually kind of research it and break it down.
and I
Maybe
spoke
like
all about those
No,
heroes
because
that
everything
died.
that Trump just
I went
said,
to the
I've
World War
read it
II
online
cemetery,
about
World War I cemetery. He refused to go to.
housing in New
He
York.
was
They were
standing there as
housing
four-star
the
general,
undocumented
and he
immigrants.
told me, he said, I don't want to go in there
And they're
because they're a
giving
bunch
them,
of losers and suckers.
and
My
they're
son
actually
was not a
giving
loser,
them,
was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
they were giving them money.
President Trump.
And they were giving them a place to stay.
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up and he brought it up.
I do know that for sure that
There's
they did
nobody
house
that's
the
taken better care
undocumented
of our
immigrants in
soldiers
the
than I have.
hotels.
To think that I would.
yeah, no,
vote
I definitely
generals
because
and
when they got the
others,
influx, you know,
suckers
man,
and
I
losers.
think
We
it's the
had
compassion
19
thing. I don't think
people
it's like they're
that
doing
said
it for
it was
votes.
never
So
said
I
by
think
me.
like the
It was
Democrats
made
made
up
the
by him,
misstep
just
of
like
like
Russia
we
was
got to
made
do
up,
everything the right
just like
way,
the
but
51
you know,
intelligence
so everybody flooded
agents are
certain
made up,
cities and stuff because
just
of
like
how,
the
like
new
you
thing
said, they'll
with the
put them in
16
like
journalists are talking. It's the
residential
same thing.
places and stuff.
51
So
intelligence
I mean, you
agents
just
said
can't operate
that
like that
the
because you, I mean,
laptop
a
was
lot of
Russian
people that have that compassion
disinformation.
thing, I get it, but
That came from
you
his
can't go
son
to any other
Hunter.
country
It
and
was
get the
Russian
same, you know, level of
disinformation.
treatment.
Made
So I
up
think they
suckers
do
and
got to
losers.
tighten up the
That's
border.
what you
So I mean,
apologize to me right now.
I agree with the sentiment of people
General
that's like, hey
standing
man,
aside
like
who's on your
immigration is a
staff
big
who
deal.
said
It
you
is.
said
It's got to be addressed.
period. That's number one. And number two, the idea the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything
Can't just allow
along the
everybody
line.
to come in.
We've done more.
Nah.
for
America,
veterans
we're
than
the
any
number
country
one
has in
target for a
American
lot of countries, right?
American history.
Oh,
Especially
absolutely.
Now
A lot
and
of
their
terrorist
family. The
organizations.
only
So
sacred obligation we have
we
as
know
a
that
country
we have a big
is
target
to
on
care
our
for our
back.
veterans when they come
It
home
doesn't make
and
sense
their
for them
families
to
and
open the
equip them when
border
they
for
go to
everyone.
war. That's what we're doing.
A lot
And
of
then, like
people.
you,
The VA is
Yeah,
doing
go ahead.
now. They're
oh no,
doing
like
more
and
for
like you
veterans
said, I
than
mean,
ever
if
before in
a
our history.
city's
All right, thank
budget
you so
like
much.
is strapped, you know,
Topic of
and
foreign
we got
policy. I want to
infrastructure
begin
that's
with
failing,
Russia's
you know,
war
Yeah.
I don't think
against
people
Ukraine,
understand how
which
critical
is
that
now in
is. Like
its
I was looking
third
at those
year.
bridge reports.
Former
They're
President
saying,
Trump,
man, a lot of those bridges
Russian
are so
President
bad that,
Vladimir
man,
Putin says he'll
they're like
only
under
end
duress
this
pretty much
war
that they
if
could
Russia
go
keeps
any
the
minute,
Ukrainian
you
It
know,
will
border
now.
collapse,
where
right?
it's
And it's
already
just like, you
playing,
know, they're
and
if you're spending
Ukraine
money on things
abandoned
that
its bid to join
you
NATO.
really shouldn't be
Are
spending
Putin's
your money
terms
on, and you're already your budget's pretty much tapped. You know,
Our
like you
veterans
said, it doesn't
and our
sit well with a
soldiers
lot of people that's paying
in
that
this
money. It's
country.
like, hey,
They can't
you could
stand
be
it.
putting that money into our kids' education, like I said,
That's what you call it.
infrastructure, but you're
That we
spending
have,
it on this
they
now.
can't
So,
stand him. So let's
nah,
get
I
back
definitely
to
agree
it.
that they got to address
And they
that.
like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on
And
every
also, there's a lot
single
of
bit of
those
information.
cases coming out. I
As
see it
far
on
as
Twitter.
Russia and Ukraine,
A lot of
if
the
we had a real
undocumented workers
president, the
were,
president that knew, that was
there's one
respected
going
by
on right now.
Putin,
There's a trial of this
he would have
undocumented worker
never
that he raped,
invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now,
this
much more
young
than
girl.
people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe
So
triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it.
if
In
you're going
fact,
to
I
open
think
up
he
the border, at
encouraged
least take
Russia from going
accountability
in.
for a lot of
I'll tell you
the
what happened. He was so bad with
crimes of
Afghanistan.
the
It was
undocumented
such a
workers that crossed
horrible,
under your watch, Mr.
embarrassment, most
President. I think you're
embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched
Yeah,
that and he
because
saw
you know,
the
like I
incompetence
worked
that he should
overseas, man, and
fire
you
those
know that's what I'm
generals,
saying. A lot of
fire the
countries
ones
that
you
you know,
mentioned. And
if
so
you're
he's
coming there,
getting
you
a
got to
rough
kind of
off.
have like a
He
worker's
should have fired
visa.
those generals.
Yeah.
No general
Companies got
got
to sponsor
fired
you or
for the
something
most
like that.
At least
embarrassing
some
moment
paperwork,
in the
right?
history of our
Yeah,
country,
so that's why I think
Afghanistan,
America
where
needs
we
to go.
let
It's just like, hey,
embarrassing
okay, we do need, you
we
know,
lost 13
immigrants
beautiful
in certain
soldiers
things like
and
farming
38
industry. That's a
soldiers
big
were
one that,
obliterated. And by
you know,
the
we're
way,
just
we
not getting
were
enough American
behind. We left
workers in there.
American
So it's just like,
citizens
hey, if
behind.
a farm
And
is
when
ready to
Putin saw
sponsor
that, he
you, they do
said,
their
you
background
know
checks.
what?
That should
I
be
think
all
we
on
could
them.
go in and
Then,
maybe
you know, we
take
could bring
money.
you in, you know, and stuff like that. But it
Both of
shouldn't
them
be just
about
like
his
you come
men.
over
The
and,
difference is he
you
never
know,
would
even
have invaded
what's that? You can have a baby on
Ukraine.
soil and then there's
Just
so
like
it's like they gotta
Israel
clean
would
all
have
that stuff
never
up. I'm
been
sorry.
invaded
Yeah.
in a
It
million
just
years by
doesn't make
Hamas.
sense.
You know
Mm-mm.
Why
why?
would they open up the
Because Iran
borders
was
for me?
broke
From
with
like
me. I
like
wouldn't let
national
anybody
reason
do business with them.
of
They
all the
ran out
risk
of
of
money.
allowing
They were
all these
broke. They had
workers,
no money for
undocumented
Hamas.
immigrants,
They
to
had
come
no
in. It
money
doesn't
for
make sense. Why
anything.
would they do
No
it
money
unless
for
there's
terror. That's why you had
another
no terror at all
another
during
motive
my
they have?
administration. This place, the whole world is
Yeah.
blowing up under him.
Hey, what's
President
up,
Biden?
Rose?
What's up, Rose?
Never heard so much malarkey in my whole life.
What's
Look,
up?
the fact of the matter is that we're in a situation where, let's take the last point first. Iran
What
attacked
do you think so
American
far?
troops, killed,
of the
caused
debate so far,
brain
Rose?
damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president. They
I was
attacked.
telling Jerk, I'm
He said
actually
they just
impressed
haven't
with
had
Biden.
it.
He's
That's
actually
all
pretty
it
sharp
is.
right now.
He didn't do a thing
That's the most I've
when the
heard him
attack
speak
took place, number one.
coherently
Number
in a
two,
long while.
we got over 100,000
In a long
Americans and others
time.
out of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three,
But they
we find
definitely should have
ourselves
a
in a
fact checker,
situation where,
like in
take a
future
look at
debates,
what
like
Trump did in
somebody just
Ukraine.
fact checks him on the spot.
This guy told Ukraine,
Yeah,
That's
that'd be
what
so hard
do
though.
whatever you
That's not
want.
true. I think they should
Do
do
It
that.
probably
whatever
comes
you
out like a
want.
day after. I
And
think
that's
most of the
exactly
time that's
what
what
Trump
people
did.
break down, like everything they
That's
said, the
Putin
responses.
encouraged him, do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in.
The
We're
American
going to
people are
take
watching,
Kyiv
so
in
we
5 days.
got to
Remember,
make sure that
because it's
everything
part
they're
of the old
saying is
Soviet
factual.
Union. That's what he wanted to
Good
reestablish.
if they have a fact checker on
Kyiv.
the spot.
And he,
Let
in
them know,
fact,
hey, you know
didn't
what you
do it
said
at
right
all.
now
He
was
wasn't
factual.
able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
President Trump,
I
I'm gonna
never
come back
said
to you
that.
for 1 minute. I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the
No, they're
territory
not
in Ukraine.
acceptable. No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he let everybody everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that
Russia would have happened,
Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking anything.
Hell yeah, would have happened. Russia, man, Ukraine is like the passage to
and we shouldn't be
the Western countries, and they got a lot of grain. So the whole pipeline that they wanted, that gas pipeline, they want that territory, man. So it would have eventually happened, because if you think about it, a few years ago when they kind of went into that one country, Georgia, this was under a whole nother president. So that's what I'm saying. Putin wants some of them old Russian states that broke off back. You know, that's the reality.
I don't think so. I don't think if President was Trump right now, I don't
He's
think
killed
that
thousands
it would
and
have
thousands
invaded
of people.
Ukraine.
And he has made one thing clear. He wants
I
to
don't know.
reestablish what
I
was
think Trump
part
would
of
have
the Soviet
let
Empire.
Putin know, like,
Not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine.
if you
That's what
invade
he wants.
Ukraine,
And then you think he'll
US
stop
would step in.
there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to
What do
Poland?
you think, Ro? What do you think
happens to
Trump
those
was
NATO
president
countries?
that
And so if you
Putin
want
would
a
have
war,
invaded
you ought
Ukraine?
to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact he does what he says
You
and walks
think
away,
Putin would
by the
have
way,
invaded Ukraine
all
if
that
Trump
money
was
we
president?
give Ukraine and from weapons we make here in the United States, we give them the weapons, not the money at this point.
The whole point of
And our NATO allies have
going
produced
in
as much
of NATO,
funding for Ukraine as we have.
part of NATO, and
That's
if they're
why
part of
that's
NATO,
why
then
we're
that
strong.
literally that leaves
Thank you.
Russia
Moving on to the
vulnerable.
Middle East.
They're not part of
In
NATO.
October, Hamas
Nothing
attacked
to do with
Israel,
anything else with NATO.
killing more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages.
I
Among
saw
those
online.
held
Is
and
it
thought
true that
to
there's
still be alive are
Russian
5
missiles by
Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians
is it
and
Cuba
created a
or
humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
What was that?
President
I
Biden,
saw it on X.
you've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has
Americans don't
not
understand
released
anything about
the remaining hostages,
on
and
in the
Israel
world.
is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war?
Rose,
You
your
have
mic
2
is
minutes.
gonna is
Number
kinda
one.
low.
Everyone,
I don't know if
from
it's
the
your,
United Nations Security Council, straight through to the G7, to the Israelis, and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward. Which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages
Is it
for
better now,
a
Will?
ceasefire.
Yeah,
Second
it's better
phase
now.
is a ceasefire with additional
Okay, cool.
conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas. Number one, they're the only ones standing out. We're
What about
still
now?
pushing hard
yeah, it's way better.
Yeah, it's
to
real
get
good.
them to
A
accept.
lot
In
more
the
clear.
meantime,
Yep.
what's happened?
Wait,
In Israel, we're finding the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest.
It's crazy how there's a Palestine
support
Israel war
of anyone in
over
the world.
college
And so that's-
campuses and
there are 2
the
different
entire
things.
US.
Hamas
Crazy.
cannot be allowed to be continued. We continue to send our experts and our intelligence people as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas, greatly weakened, and they should be. They should be eliminated.
Hamas is
But
not
you've
weak.
got to be careful for what's using
Well,
certain weapons among
when you
population centers.
When 10 are reborn.
Going back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have an ocean
What'd you say,
separating
Ro?
us. The European nations together
When it comes to
have
Hamas,
spent $100 billion or maybe more than that, less than us.
stolen from them.
Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any, they were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting all, you got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion
you know the
more
situation
spent,
right
and
now
it
with
has
NATO,
a bigger impact
Derek?
on them because of location, because we have an ocean in
You
between.
guys know the
You
situation
got
right
to
now with
ask them,
NATO?
as far as
There's like
Israel
32 countries in
and
NATO. They don't want
Hamas.
us to be part of
Israel's
it.
the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't
Country
like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's the weak one.
goes to NATO.
President Biden, you have a minute.
I've never heard so much foolishness.
Club of
This is a guy
people
who wants to get out of
allies,
NATO. You're going to stay in NATO?
and
You're
they're
gonna
all
pull out of
against
NATO. The
dominant
idea that we have our
Russia.
strength lies in our alliances as well.
Russia's not
We
cool
may
with
be a
that.
big ocean, but we're ever able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe?
So it's
What
all about
happens if, in fact,
that
you
we were
have
with
Putin
instead.
continue to go into NATO? We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on
Your
all.
mic
If
is
you want to
still
start the
in and
nuclear
out.
war he keeps talking about,
I think it
go
might be
ahead.
the video
Putin go in
because
and
I think it might
control
be too loud.
Ukraine,
We're
and
talking
then
over
move
it, so you
on
might
to
have to
fold in
lower the
other
video a
places.
little bit where we
It's just,
could.
it happens then.
Well,
He has no idea
think
what the hell he's talking
I mean,
about.
your mic is
And by
pretty
the way, I
clear.
got 50 other
Oh, okay.
nations around the world to support Ukraine, including
Let me put the
Japan
volume down
and
a little
South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace. No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
President Trump, just to follow
Yeah, that's, I mean,
up,
I
would
think
you
that's
support
the only
the
concern of
creation of
Putin.
an
He just doesn't
independent
want anybody
Palestinian
to build
state in
bases
order to achieve peace in the
by his
region?
We
border.
have to see, but before we do that,
If
the problem we have
if
is that we spend
Ukraine
all the
becomes
money.
part of NATO,
So
then
they
that means
kill
that
us
they
in
allow.
trade.
They're right on Russia's
with the
border and
European
then
nations.
to Russia.
So
So
if you add them up, they're
it's
about
like
the same size economically.
China
Their
go
economy is about the
over
same
Canada
size
and they're
as
right
the
next to
United
us. Like,
and they
do we
were
really
no
want that
cars.
as if we
They don't
own
want anything
Canada?
that we have, but we're
Yeah.
supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their
Nah,
agriculture.
that's a good point. Yeah, no, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, he just don't want
They don't want to
too
pay.
much influence on his doorstep.
That he can play games.
But the
with-
only misstep he made is when he went into Ukraine, and now that like he's having trouble with such a small country, because before everybody's seen Russia as like this
you don't pay. They asked me
major
that
force,
question.
but now
Would
that
you
they're
guard
struggling with
against
Ukraine, it
Russia?
kind of exposed some stuff. So there was a couple of countries that already in line to join NATO. I think it was Sweden or one of them, Finland. I can't remember which one, but
billions and
a couple of them are starting to join the NATO now. So
the next month.
It's like a
Now we're in the same position.
probably
We're
gotta
paying
be
everybody's
thinking
bills.
for a lot of the
Let's turn to the
people.
issue of democracy. Former President Trump, I want to ask you about January 6, 2021. After you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes.
Their
As
GDP is
president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th?
Your mic is going in and out,
Well, I
bro.
don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world.
Hey, did you guys see those
All
videos
over
of
world, we
the
were
January
respected.
6th?
And then he comes in, and we're now laughed
It shows
at.
that
We're like a bunch of stupid people.
the people that I guess the law enforcement was working
States' reputation
Capitol
under this
allowed
man's
a lot
leadership
of those people to come in.
is horrible, including weaponization.
Did you see those videos?
At some point you'll be talking about.
I didn't catch none of those videos. You seen them?
Because he can't beat him fair and square.
Yeah.
My mic better
You
now,
have
Will?
80 seconds left. My question was,
it's a lot
what do
better
you
now.
say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say, but she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor in writing turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, you can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president.
You guys believe that Trump encouraged those people on January 6th against to march on Capitol Hill?
To end it.
You can march peacefully. That's legal.
Patriots and great patrons
As
of
far as the
America.
corruption,
In
that was
fact,
started by the
he says
FBI.
he'll not forgive them for what they've done.
I'm gonna say
convicted. He says he wants to
no.
commit their sentences.
I think, man, when you're an adult, you're responsible for your own actions. So I mean, you know, that'd be like if somebody came to me and was like, "Hey, man, I want you to," even though if I'm a supporter, say if I was supporting Rose and Rose was like, "Hey, go march to that building and break in and do stuff, whatever," I'm gonna be like, "Nah, I'm good," So nah, I wouldn't put it on the president. I mean, they were all adults. You know what I'm saying?
He wants to let them all out.
Now, there's I think Tim Pool covered it on his podcast, on his show.
Bloodbath.
Thank you, President
It
Biden.
was
President
like
Trump?
FBI setup where The
What?
video,
To some
the videos
who are
were
so innocent.
a lot of the people
You ought to
dressed
be
up
ashamed of yourself.
as
What
those
you have
people that
done,
was
you've
going that was
destroyed the
marching.
lives of
A
so
lot
many
of them
people.
were
When
FBI
they
agents, and then
ripped
the
down
law enforcement
Portland,
just
when they
allowed them
ripped
in.
down
Didn't even
many other
try to
cities.
defend
You
it.
go to Minnesota,
Walk into
Minneapolis,
Capitol
what
building.
they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't
No,
bring in the
I think
National
because
Guard, that
they got
thing
the
would be
Capitol Police,
destroyed.
so I
When you
just
look
think,
at
man, a
all
lot
of
of people were
they
That
took
much
over big chunks
the
of Seattle. It was
expectations
all
for this
set to
that
bring in the
type of
National
stuff to
Guard. We heard
happen.
that
They
was
just
going
wasn't
to
ready,
happen. They
honestly.
left
But no, it
immediately.
was regular
What he
citizens,
said
honestly,
about
that
this
came in
whole
there because
subject is
Well, there
so
was
they
mixed.
all got tried and
many
stuff.
people.
So
One other
yeah,
thing,
Some
Yeah,
of them
they're
were.
all innocent.
the unselect
They
committee,
had
which
so many
is
people locked up that are
basically two
they're stuck
horrible
there.
Republicans that are all gone
Some
now
stuck
out of
there.
office,
The truth.
and Democrats, all Democrats.
but yeah, I don't
They
think like you
destroyed
can't really.
and looted
Like I said,
all
even if somebody was out there like, hey, y'all do
You
this. I
were
mean,
right.
come on, man.
You
Like
were right.
majority of adults
They
don't listen to
deleted
shit
and
no way,
destroyed
so they
all
had
the
their own
information.
free
They
will. You
should go to
can't. I don't
jail
think you
for
could
that.
blame
If
nobody
a
for
Republican
what an
did that,
adult
they'd go
does.
to
Thank you,
jail.
President Trump. President
It's like
Biden, I
we
wanna
always
give you a
talk
minute.
accountability.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now.
He
And
said
the fact of
convicted
the
felon.
matter is, he is,
They called him
what
convicted
he's
felon.
telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, just turned over desks, turned them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots, come on. When I asked him those first two debates we had, the debates we had first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing, will you denounce these guys? Will you denounce the people we're talking about now? Will you denounce the people who attacked that Capitol? What are you going to do?
I'm going to give you
I love the faces they
minute,
be making.
President Trump, for a follow-up
Yeah.
question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the select committee on January 6th.
This would have been a lot better if there was a
And your
live
main
audience.
political opponent is standing on stage with
You think so?
tonight.
With
Can
like
you
the
clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you
I
have
think
every
they
right
kind
to go
of did
after
it
your
to
political
kind of.
opponents?
Well, I
It
said
seemed like
my
they tried to do it to
retribution
kind
was
of help
going to
out
be
Biden.
success. We're going to make this country
There's
successful
no
again,
live
because
audience.
right now it's a
Because there
failing
is
nation.
he probably
My
has a ear
retribution is going to be success.
right there
But
behind
when
the
he talks about a convicted
Yeah.
felon, his son is a convicted felon
telling you to read
at
it
a
or
very
something.
high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably
What did
numerous
Trump
other
mean when he
times.
said he would have
Should have
every?
been convicted before, but his
I mean, come on,
Justice
this is
Department
posted by
let the
CNN, and
statute
it's
of limitations lapse on the most important
they're
things.
hiding a lot of stuff.
But he could be a convicted felon
Why?
as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted
Broadcast
felon with all of the
control,
things that
like
he's done.
Joe
He's
Rogan
done horrible
broadcast
things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the
a lot
Ukrainian
more
people that we're going to
popular.
want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that,
Do you think,
Let's
Dirk? Do you
quid
think that they
pro
were
that
the case
we're
they
not
were
going
going
to do
against
anything. We're
Trump?
not
Do you
going to
think
give you
that
$1 billion unless you
it was a
change your
legitimate
prosecutor
case
having
that
to
they
do
were
with his
trying to
son.
go against it because
This
he
man
committed
is
a
a
crime, or
criminal.
do you
This
think there
man,
was a
you're lucky.
political
You're
motive
lucky.
behind it
I did
because he was
nothing
running for
wrong.
president
We'd have
and
a
they don't want him
system that
to
was
be
rigged and
president? What do you
disgusting.
think,
I
Dirk?
did nothing wrong.
Thank you,
I
sir.
think I think it was a actual case because I'm one of them people like even I don't care what side it's on. I look at the like I always like read the law and the what's submitted, and it's like if you look at the details on
the idea
the legal documentation and stuff, it's like nah, it's legit stuff. So even when it was like Hillary, Hunter, Biden, whoever it is, it's all legitimate cases. Like
Number three,
the burden of proof you got to go to even get like the warrants or to move stuff forward. And you have to have so much stuff in order. And then when you're talking about any sitting president, like people are scared to even touch those things. So nah, it's solid.
On the night
You
your
really
wife was
He's
pregnant.
running for president.
What are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one. Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And
So
we
we know-
took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any
I
campaign.
mean,
I don't
they
think
put a
any
lot of
campaign
resources to
has
go
ever
and
taken
put that case
hundreds
against
of
Trump. It just,
millions of dollars.
the
They've brought
timing of
in
it just seems
because
like it's
the
like a
public
political
knows
move.
it's a scam.
Just
And
from
it's a
looking
guy
from the
that's after
outside
his
in.
political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Well, they had to do it after he left office. That was the reality, because like as a sitting president, you have those protections. So that's why a lot of stuff happened as soon as he left office.
Millions of Americans
It was like
who
a
are likely to vote for President Trump will be voting against American democracy.
The more they know about what he's done, yes, the more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming out. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you heard any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? You ever hear any president say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died, I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches, and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman got killed. I spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? The ones who got killed, the one who tried to stop it, and the ones," he said, "I think they're fine people on both sides." What American president would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas were fine people? This is the guy who says Hitler's done some good things. I'd like to know what they are.
I would have liked it if they
Because
didn't mute the
Hitler's
mic
done,
and
that's
let
what
you know,
he said. This guy has
and allow
no
them to go
sense
back
of
and forth.
democracy.
President Trump.
Jake, both of you know that story has been totally
yeah, that would have been more interesting
out.
a little bit.
Yeah,
because when you
be
see
more
the
interesting.
sentence, it said 100% exoneration on this. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance. He's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate. We're trying to justify his presidency. His presidency, he's without question the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country.
So
We shouldn't
true.
be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville.
You guys agree? Is
story,
he the worst?
and you'll see it's
Hell
debunked
nah.
all over the
Who's
place.
worse than Biden?
Every anchor,
Andrew
every
Jackson.
reasonable anchor has
Man, that far?
debunked it. And just the
All the
other
way-
day, it came out where it
all
was
the way to
fully
Andrew Jackson?
debunked.
Yep.
It's a nonsense story. He
What did
knows that.
Andrew
Talk about the
Jackson
Great
do?
Depression and all that type of stuff, the lead up. That's what I'm saying. We ain't there. Like, I get it. We have inflation and stuff, but
All you have to do is listen to what we
America
said at
ain't
the
that
time.
bad, man. When you look at the numbers.
Somehow
Was Andrew
that's the only
Jackson the
reason
one
I ran. I ran because I was worried
did
the guy like this
the
guy
Yellow
could get elected.
Tears with the
If he
Indians?
thought
Is he that
they
one
were
or
good
no?
people coming out of that.
I'm not sure. I just knew he like gutted out a lot of stuff that like led up to
to be president.
the Great Depression. That was like one of the worst times in history. So
that he's talking about.
Was he a Democrat or
all this being
Republican?
fabricated.
Republican.
We saw it
I'm not even
online.
sure,
We
to tell
saw
you
it
the truth.
happen on January
Can't
6th.
remember.
We saw the people breaking through the windows.
probably in
We
a
saw
wig
people
party or some
occupying
shit. It was a long time.
There's
Oh yeah, it
But
was a
there's a
long time.
reason why
Let me look it up.
44 top cabinet officers refused to endorse him this time. His vice president hasn't endorsed him this time. So why? Why? They know him well. They serve with him. Why are they not endorsing him?
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate.
So Rose, you got the connections. You got the people.
This is our Democratic president.
What'd you say?
That's why y'all had the Great Depression.
Was it Democratic president?
Yeah, he was the first Democratic president.
Oh, he's the
Was he?
first one.
Yeah,
Andrew Jackson.
that just shows what that party does.
All right, we got a commercial break, y'all. What do you guys think? I know some of you guys are watching this right now on the screen. I see you guys have been degenerate. Let me know what you guys think about the debate so far. If you guys are watching, I know you guys are ninja watching right now. You guys are not commenting on that. And then jump on. We do have the links in the description on YouTube. So if you do want to jump on with us and watch the debate with us and provide some commentary, let me know. Click on that link on YouTube and jump on the panel. It is going to be interesting. I think the next 4 years is definitely going to be. I think this. For me personally, I think this election is going to be probably the most important election in my lifetime.
You said the most important?
yeah, that's going to have the most impact of what's going on right now. I mean, there's a lot of things going on right now. We have the war with Israel, Palestine, Ukraine. There's a lot of things going on. We've got the immigration thing going on. So,
but see, the thing is, they gotta gotta prove it, you know. So I think immigration is gonna eventually pass which either one gets in the office, because they already have the package like floating right now. And it's pretty bipartisan. So I just think nobody wants to approve it now, because, you know, it's like, since the election is going on, both sides want them talking points. They want to hit the other side and stuff. So, you know, they playing them games with certain things.
What do you mean approve?
Well, because I think they voted on it, but they rejected it. But it was pretty balanced. It had everything like everybody wanted before, you know, so nobody wants to kind of push it over the hill. Because like I said, I think, like, you know, for example, Democrats wouldn't be able to be like, oh, they didn't improve the package. See, they're not serious about immigration. And I don't think Republicans want to give them a victory right now. So
Legal immigration? Are you talking about illegal immigration? Because that should never be passed.
yeah, but it was like something like they were putting a lot more border patrol agents, you know, more technology, those blimps that they could track everybody and stuff. So that's what I'm saying. It had everything in there.
That's what they need to do. And put more people at the border.
Yeah, they definitely need to make some changes. That's what I'm saying. Immigration, that's one. Like, I don't see how anybody could defend that. You know, they definitely got for Democrats, because they definitely botched that. You know.
Yeah, because that's how they cheat to get votes. Allow as many immigrants in as possible so that they can vote. That's why they don't require voter ID. I'm talking about Democrats cheat. They can't win.
do you have any Democratic friends, Rose?
Like
close friends?
No, my friends are smart.
I knew you were going to say that.
I only surround myself with intelligent people.
I knew you were going to say that.
Welcome back to the CNN presidential debate live from Georgia. Let's talk about persistent challenges you both faced in your first terms, and you'd certainly face again in a second term. President Biden, while Black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, Black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and Black Americans are imprisoned
I wonder why they're
at
just
5
focusing
times
on
the rate
Blacks.
of white Americans. What do you say to Black voters?
Because
who
Blacks are Democratic.
haven't
If they
made
were Republican, they wouldn't be so
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's
Fact of the
so
matter is,
impoverished,
more
honestly.
Black businesses that have been started.
Not necessarily. I think a lot of Black people are starting to, you know, opening up, and a lot of Black people, I think this was the first time, like, they definitely supported Trump a lot, from what I'm seeing.
Your most successful Black people are conservatives, not Democrats.
Exist among
I think it's a mixture.
these corporations that collude to keep people out of their houses.
what's the population of Black people, like 30% in America?
Nah, like probably like 15.
14%.
14, 15? Oh, 15%.
Yeah, let me see.
Incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to reduce Black
11%, 11.4.
Cut them in half.
A lot lower than we thought.
We got to make sure we provide for child care costs. We got to make sure, because when you provide that child care
Try to bring all these illegal immigrants, because then they're going to overpopulate Blacks, and the Black won't matter. Focus on Latin folks.
There's more to be done. Considerably.
What's the Latin population?
So far now.
Yeah, it's definitely growing, I think.
49 seconds left. What do you say to Black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any Black family, first-time home buyer,
like 19% Hispanics.
Yeah,
19%.
To be able to
they overtook
the
Black.
I made sure that we're in a
population.
situation.
Oh wow.
All those
2.8 total population, about 63.5 million
people. Got student loans that were ballooning. that if they were engaged in nursing.
Oh yeah, it's bigger than the black population already.
Yeah.
Anything having to do with volunteers.
Well, that's why they're focusing so much on it. Makes sense.
Through student debt, all the rest is forgiven after 10 years. Millions have benefited from that. And we're going to do a whole lot more for Black families.
Thank you, President Trump.
And he caused the inflation. He's blaming inflation, and he's right. It's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing Black families and Hispanic families and just about everybody. It's killing people.
Black and brown people that feel more than anything. People don't feel.
You look at the cost of food where it's doubled and tripled and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore.
Yeah, that threw me off from last night's pod when there's
a country with no.
You're saying, I remember it was Anna was saying that the economy is better than ever.
He destroyed it.
Where she lives in?
I'm like, have you gone grocery shopping?
Money that's being thrown out the window.
Groceries is pretty damn high right now.
As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is
that pay bills
on the Black people,
mortgage, or you have rent,
people that he's allowed to come in through
do anything
in Black jobs.
You know, everything's doubled. You can't deny that.
19 and even 20 million people, they're taking Black jobs.
Yeah, it's like I think people get caught up on some of the mixed numbers. So like
something that's going to
unemployment's low.
Thank you.
I think like people getting jobs is high, but like what you guys were saying, like the price of goods, you can't ignore that shit. Like you go grocery shopping, like you said. I remember I was just talking to somebody. I was like, man, I remember back like 15 years ago, man, I could go to a store with like Aldi's or something, and I could leave with a whole cart of stuff for like $150, man. Nowadays, it's like I get some Tide Pods, some paper towels, and a case of water, and that's like damn near $100, and a couple bags of chips.
$1,000 per person in a family to get written off for health care. But this guy wants to eliminate that. They tried 50 times.
All you gotta do is look at your bills. Look at your energy bill, and it says it shows you from last year to this year. It's way more.
Idea.
Same amount of just way more. Everything's more. Gas was around $2 when Trump is in office. Now it's $4, $5, $6. Come on,
equity.
Not because it's a tax.
Making sure people have a shot to
Yep.
make it. There's a lot going on, but in inflation,
But see, like gas and stuff like that, man. That's like OPEC. That's like so out of our control.
Thank you. Another persistent challenge is the climate crisis. 2023 was
You don't think the president has an influence on the gasoline prices?
Are confronting the devastating effects.
Of course, he's the one that shut down the pipelines. Are you kidding me? He wants to go electric, which is dumb. Fossil fuels is the way to go. It's more efficient.
She said fossil fuels.
Climate initiatives, but
how crazy is yeah, y'all talk about burning some coal and shit in 2024.
That's how we get our energy.
Nah, we need like solar power. We probably need some nuclear plants.
Have you looked into solar? Solar is expensive as hell, and it's not as efficient.
But that's where, like y'all said yesterday, we stop funding all these other countries and make that investment. We need a mixture of everything. Put everything on the table as far as energy.
Go ahead, I guess.
Super Predators was his name, and he called it to him.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while before solar or wind power alternative fuel will be able to supply the demand for the entire country. Right now,
yeah, but yeah, you don't look for the whole demand. You know, you do enough where it's like, because like I said, if you do a mixture of like everything where you can say like solar, not saying like you can't do it across the board like you said, but wind power, nuclear plants, you know, you do a mixture of that, update the grid. You know, you'll make a good impact, and then you know people are starting to buy electric cars now, so you have like tax credits.
When your electric car to get charged, it's charged by fossil fuels.
Much of the Black population.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You gotta switch the grid a little bit. You could do what they using gas and stuff like that now too. I forgot the stuff that it's called, but yeah, everything ain't gonna be perfect, but yeah, you could do a combination of it.
Dubai was built off of solar. No, Dubai's built off of fossil fuels. I think it's hard one of the richest countries in the Middle East because of
nobody's saying it's gonna be just off of solar. That's what I'm saying. Like we got nuclear plants. That's what I'm saying. You can build more of them.
Clean air, and
what's the other plants? Like they got them in Europe where they're pretty clean. That's what I'm saying.
And we were using
natural gas.
Yeah, like natural gas and
yet during my 4 years,
but yeah, coal and stuff like that. Shit.
Ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage.
Do
you guys believe in the climate crisis?
No, it's
Hell
all
yeah.
there's no such thing.
I don't believe in it, but do you believe in it, Dirk?
Yeah, I do.
Now so they can sell fucking electric shit. That's more expensive.
And by the way, black colleges. I came up with
Because if you look at the coastline, and y'all in California, you see all them forest fires more frequently. You see the hurricanes coming and destroying that like coastal line. Ask the people that live in them coasts, like how many times I was talking to one of my friends. He lives out there. He had to build his house like 4 times. He was like, "Hey man, in the past, diehard Republican." He was like, "Look, something's going on." Talk to the people that live on the edge over there.
It's called weather modification. The U.S. can create weather modification.
See, here's how simple it is. See, I'm the guy that introduces the logic. It's called global warming. So if you look at the like
way back.
The monthly like temperatures from last year and you compare them to this year, it's hotter. So global warming. That's how simple it is. There is an increase in temperatures.
Nothing.
I got a response for that, Dirk.
It was a ripoff of the United States.
I don't think you study this stuff, Dirk. I study all.
I don't need to study common sense.
Horribly. We were the only.
If you show me a temperature from last year, it was like 88, and now it's like 90 in the same month at the same time frame. That is warmer. Global.
No, I agree. I agree, Dirk. But here's a question for you. If you look at the temperatures of how cold it is, it's actually getting colder as well.
They want everybody. And look,
yeah, but that's because like it comes with the coldness. So like it does get cold, but it also gets like super hot, which causes those droughts. And then our water levels are at like extreme lows, especially in that Southwest. If you look at the water, Arizona, Texas, and all them places, man, the water's at like historic lows.
Yeah, but isn't that the argument that the planet is getting hotter? But then if it's getting hotter, then how come we're also experiencing record low temperatures, even in the colder seasons?
It's bullshit. Not even 10 years ago, that the world was getting colder. Come on now.
I mean, that's the thing. If it's getting hotter because of global warming, then why are the coldest places in the world getting colder?
We set up a climate corps.
It's not necessarily them polar ice caps. Them things is melting like
Peace Corps.
like crazy. If you look at those how the water levels is starting to rise.
Cause of pollution. But the idea
but the polar ice caps hasn't like doesn't affect countries that's not even close to.
No, it does. That's why like if you look at Miami and all them, that water's starting to push up and stuff. You know, like Houston, they're starting to get a lot of floods down there. They're becoming more and more frequent.
Agreed that they would reduce.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Look at this stuff, man.
I've been looking too.
I made sure every company in the world, every pharmacy.
Nah, because I'll be looking at real estate and stuff. That's what I'm saying. I'll be looking at the stuff and like you look at the insurance prices on like those coastal lines, like in Florida and all that stuff. It's through the roof now because like all this stuff, these reoccurrences, man, it's getting costly. Like Brownsville, Texas, South Padre. Yeah, Houston, man, they be having like terrible floods down there now. Like they just had one last, I think, a couple months ago.
Solvent.
Yes, make the very wealthy begin.
Another time about Social Security. That's a very important topic because most people that vote are going to be your old timers.
Yeah, no, definitely. Turn this up a little bit.
Vote Republican because they don't want Security taken away.
The idea that they're gonna, I'm proposing that everybody.
I gotta send you a clip. Vivek Ramaswamy did a great breakdown of why climate change
so no one after
is not real.
I would not raise the cost.
I'll send it to you.
Under $400,000. After that, it began to make the wealthy begin to pay their fair share by increasing from 1% beyond to be able to guarantee the program for life.
Yeah, I see Coach K. I see him a lot. Yeah, jump on, Coach.
Are there any other measures that you think that would be able to help?
Yeah, Coach K is dope, man. That's what I was telling you, like, you need to pull up on your Wednesday panels, man. That very articulate, knows a lot about situation.
Because he wants to get rid of
relationship dynamics and stuff.
Money to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare both times. And that's and if you look at the program put forward by the House Republican Caucus that he supports, is in fact want to cut it as well. The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors is ridiculous. And by the way, the American public has greater health care coverage today than ever before. And on the ACA, as I said, you're in a circumstance where.
Hey, Coach, drop your
you ever been
Yeah.
before.
40
It's a
million
fact.
people.
Drop your IG on
insurance
the live
because they have
chat,
a
coach. I can
pre-existing
reach out to you.
condition.
Definitely
Only
would love
allows them
to
have
invite
that
you to
insurance
one of my
is the fact
panels.
that they in fact are part of the
What's up,
ACA.
Coach K?
And by the way, the other
Yeah,
thing
Coach
is,
K. She's one of those. She's real logical, man, unbiased. So she'll be dope.
I've seen her on
She's one of my
panels.
favorites.
Yeah,
Pell
Coach,
grants,
yeah, Coach
another
K.
$8,000. So anybody
Dope.
making
She'll be
under
holding those
$70,000
ladies
a year
accountable
could be able
on
to
the
get
How she
panel.
do? She dope.
$15,000 worth of tuitions.
She a real one.
Rose is one of my favorites too, even though she crazy as shit. I'm still a fan of Rose.
Only the crazy ones are the
I've been
shakers
on
for
this
this
side of the equation for the last 8 years.
Hey Rose, I'm
I've never
I'm
seen
gonna fly
anybody
you
else
out
like this guy.
by the end of this
He
year.
lies.
So you
I've
come
never
to the
seen
pod.
he could look you in the face. So
Put
many
her ass on
Swing.
was one of the cheapest airlines. They got like one wing and shit. Put her on one of those.
Spirit.
And disinformation.
Where they got like chickens and hens on the bottom. Put her down there with them.
I'm gonna fly out Rose by the end of this year. Join us one of our panels on Saturday.
He's destroying it because millions of people are pouring into
Rose gonna cuss everybody out.
Now, me and Rose will do a one-on-one pod right before.
Yeah, you might.
And we'll go over everything, bro.
They're taking
Rose.
the place of our citizens.
We'll go over everything.
What they're doing to the VA, to our veterans, is unbelievable. Our veterans are living in the street, and these people are living in luxury hotels.
Our
He
veterans.
doesn't know what he's doing, and it's really
Say
coming
that again,
back.
Rose?
I've never seen such anger. in
Homeless
our
is a lot
country
worse.
before.
And a lot of homeless are veterans. They're on
The
drugs.
idea that
They don't
veterans
have the
are
help
not being
they
taken
need.
care of. I told you before. By the
Sad.
way, when I said suckers and losers, he said he acknowledged after that he fired that general. That general got fired because he's the one that acknowledged that that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump when he said it. Number one. Number two, the idea that we're going to be in a situation where all these millions and millions, the way he talks about it, illegal aliens are coming into the country and taking away our jobs. There's a reason why we have the fastest growing economy in the world, the reason why we have the most successful economy in the world. We're doing better than any other nation in the world. And by the way, those 15 Nobel laureates he talked about being phony, those 15 Nobel laureates, economists, they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession and inflation is going to increasingly go up. And by the way, worst president in history, 159 presidential scholars voted for him the worst president in the history of the United States of America.
President Biden, thank you so much. Let's turn to the cost of childcare, which many American families struggle to afford. President Trump, both you and President Biden have tried to address this issue, but the average cost of childcare in this country has risen to more than $11,000 a year per child. For many families, the cost of childcare for 2 children is more than their rent. In your second term, what would you do to make childcare more affordable?
Just to go back, the general got fired because he was no good.
Stop having as many kids is a great solution. Let me just throw that out there.
I didn't say it. And they're very highly respected. That's
simple.
The other thing is, he doesn't fire people.
What my
He
dad
never
used to
fired
say.
people. I've never seen him fire.
If he dies, just
I
make
did
another
fire a
one.
lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired people at the FBI, drained the swamp. They were no good. Not easy to
Making
fire
babies.
people. You'd pay a price for it, but they were no good. I inherited these people. I didn't put them. I didn't put Comey there. He was no good.
Man, my dad
I
was
fired him. This guy hasn't
Our
fired
That was
anyone.
old school with it, huh?
He should have fired every military man that was involved with that the
Childcare is not
Afghanistan horror show, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. He didn't fire. Did you fire anybody? Did you fire anybody that's on the border that's allowed us to have the worst border in the history of the world? Did anybody get fired for allowing 18 million people, many from prisons, many from mental institutions? Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Joe, our country is being destroyed.
The reason why
as you
childcare,
and I sit up
a
here
lot of
and
people
waste
are
a lot of
struggling
time
with
on this
childcare
debate.
because a lot of
This
people are
shouldn't be a
not.
debate. He is the worst
Um,
president. He just said about me because I
There's
said
a lot of people not getting
uh,
married before having
look,
children.
he's the
If you
worst
try to do it,
president
if
in
you
the
try to
history
raise
of our
kids on your
country.
own,
He's destroyed our country.
you're gonna be
Now
broke.
all of a sudden he's trying to get a little tougher on the
Absolutely.
border. He
Yeah.
came out with a
So we
nothing,
didn't really have this
a nothing
issue when
deal,
men and
and
women
it reduced
were
it a little
actually
bit,
getting married
a little bit,
and
like this much. It's
raised and combined their
insignificant.
incomes
He wants open
and
borders.
raised it
He
together.
wants our country to either be
In the
destroyed
world
or
of
he wants to pick up
promiscuity
those
and people just
people
out there
as
having kids
voters.
before marriage,
And I don't think
you see a
we
lot of
just can't
people
let it happen. If
having kids
he
without a
wins this election,
without a
our
partner, and that
country
makes it a
doesn't
lot
have a
harder.
chance,
No,
not
it
even a
does. It
chance
does.
of coming out of this rut. We probably won't have a
I think that's
country
missing
left
in this
anymore. That's
conversation.
how bad it is. He is the
People are
worst in
struggling
history by far.
because
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden?
We're the most admired country in the world.
if
We're the
everything.
United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity. We have the finest
that
military
again,
in the
Rose?
history of the world, the finest in the history of the world.
I don't care.
No
It's
one thinks
expensive
we're
because
weak.
everything's
No
expensive.
one wants to screw
Inflation.
around with nobody.
Yeah.
We
Number
open up
one.
energy,
Number
the
two,
cost
the
of everything will go down, and
we're
people
talking
can
about
afford
worst
childcare.
president. I
That's
wasn't joking.
open
Look,
up
go
energy.
online.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Bill,
58, don't hold me the exact number. Presidential historians,
that's happened
they
to our
had
own.
meetings and they voted who's the worst president in American history. One through best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history. That's a fact. That's not conjecture. He can argue they're wrong, but that's what they voted. The idea that he is doing anything to
I
deal
saw
with
something online that said
childcare.
that
He did
you need to have these
virtually
debates
nothing
with
for
like
childcare. We should
like long
significantly
form
increase the
podcast
childcare
form.
tax credit. We should
Like
significantly increase
Oh, that would, yeah, I think that would be better, man.
Have this debate with Joe Rogan
single
as a
parents to be
moderator
able
and
to
just
go back
do a
to work,
3-hour
and we
podcast.
should
And have
encourage
that.
Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, and
Thank you,
I don't know,
President
some
Biden.
other
President
person.
Trump, the question was,
You think that's a good
what
idea?
would you do to make childcare
Moderators
more
do a
affordable?
I do. Get somebody that's kind of like
We have
unbiased, because yeah, sometimes these formats, I think they do like
is so bad.
get away from the major topics that, because like I like what Rose is saying, and even Coach K, it's like, hey man, why aren't we talking about the cost of goods, the cost of homes, energy, you know?
That would be a good one.
Nobody's ever
If it was like
created
black
an economy
Joe
like
Rogan.
us. Nobody
Yeah,
ever
because-
cut taxes like
Oh,
us.
Ken Owen,
He's the
that'd be
only
cool.
one I know. He wants to raise your
Because they're
taxes
answering
by 4
complex-
times.
They're answering
wants to
complex
raise
issues
everybody's
like in
taxes
2 minutes. You
by
can't
4 times. He
answer
wants the Trump
one of
tax
these
cuts
complex,
to
like,
expire.
like the conversation with
everybody,
childcare. You can't
including
answer
the
that in
two
a
of you, are going to
2-minute
pay 4 to
response.
5 times.
You need some time
Nobody
to
ever
kind
heard
of
of
like
this before.
dissect that
All
whole
my
topic.
life, I'd grow up and I
Nah, because yeah, like that's a good point. Because like just this debate alone, like you guys were saying, immigration could probably take up that whole segment. So it
Yeah,
should
like
probably
30
be like
minutes.
8, like you said, 8 episodes or something. And it's just like you ask follow-up questions, you dig in, like you said, to see if they really know it or is it just surface level.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think that would be a better approach.
That'd be a lot better. I think a lot of people would watch it. A lot of people would tune in.
Oh, yeah.
If that was the case.
I said I'd never raise the tax.
Yeah, but they're
on
covering
anybody
topics that you could be each topic could be like a 1-hour segment.
It's 10% tariff.
Well, just think about it. We've been watching this for about an hour now. We done talked about Ukraine, Russia. We talked about Social Security. We talked about
Exactly. Yeah, I know.
Because they're going to have to pay the difference.
A lot of these topics we've
And all the
dedicated a
things
whole
that are important.
podcast show for like
Number
one
two,
topic, right?
He's in a
yeah.
situation where
Absolutely.
So,
he
but they're
talks
just running through these
about how he
topics
has not
with
raised
with responsibility
he somehow helped
planned
the
and
middle
prepared
class.
for
Middle
their
class has been
team.
devastated by you. Now you want a new tax
No,
cut of
when
$5
Trump was in
trillion
office,
over the
the
next
class
10
was doing
years,
better than
which is
anyone.
going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You had the largest deficit of any president in American history, number one. Number two, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are the lowest trade deficit with China since
He was doing lower.
2010.
They got
Thank you,
along
President
well.
Biden.
You lost
Thank you, President Biden. Let's
He's
discuss
the one
an
that had all
epidemic
those terrorist
impacting
attacks that
millions
we
of Americans that both of
aren't
you
they
have
back
made a
to
top
there?
priority in your first term,
Hell?
the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number of overdose deaths in this country.
Yeah, they
has
got to do
gone
the
up
long form
under your
podcast.
term. It went
Yeah,
up
because like you said, man, it's literally like 8.
President Trump,
I'll say
despite the
like
efforts of those of you who
impactful
have
like topics.
more than 100,000
It's like you said, 2 minutes is just not enough for
Yeah,
like.
it's not enough to
fentanyl and other
dissect it.
opioids. What will you do to help?
Yeah, I never really thought about that
right
till you
now
said that,
in
Will. I
those
thought they definitely need to go to a format like that.
struggling to
No,
get
yeah,
the
I just
treatment
saw it
they need?
online. They were suggesting somebody suggested
finish
it.
up.
Like we need to.
We
Like,
now
this is the
have
traditional way of doing things. We need a modern way of doing things. And
we have the
comes to the
largest
debate,
deficit
we got to
with
do a long
China.
form, like
He gets paid
4
by
or 5
China.
hour
He's a
podcast with
Manchurian candidate. He gets money from
somebody,
China.
Lex Friedman.
So I think he's
Joe
afraid to
Rogan.
deal with them or something.
Yeah.
We noticed he never took out
Biden
the
didn't
tariffs
from
because we
China.
bring in so much money with the tariffs that I impose.
That
Oh,
really-
they
that
talking
really-
about the tariffs now.
He can't
I
because
know.
it's too much money.
And that
It's
really shows they
tremendous.
actually
And
know
we
what they're
saved our
talking about.
steel industries, and
Yeah.
there's more to come. But he hasn't done that. But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our country, and he's got the worst situation.
What
with
would Trump
China.
do to help
China's gonna
Americans who
own
are
us if
addicted
you
to
keep
opioids
allowing
and
them
struggling to get
to do
treatment?
what
they
they're
need?
doing to us as a country. They are killing us as a country, Joe. And you
No, the
can't let
fentanyl crisis
that
is
happen.
real
You're
out here in San
destroying our
Francisco.
country.
Is it?
So,
Oh, man, I
President
see it
Trump,
every
you have
day.
67 seconds left. The
Yeah.
question was, what are you going to do to help Americans? in
I
the
didn't have a handle on it on the
struggling to
border.
get
We wouldn't have
treatment
so many
they
opioids coming
We're
in. All
doing
that
very
fentanyl.
well at addiction until the
sad.
COVID came along. We had the 2.5,
That's true,
almost
that's
3
true.
years of like nobody's ever had before, any country in every way. And then we had to get tough. And it was the drugs.
I got a lot of homeless out there in San Francisco, right, Will?
it started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain dog that's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it. We did a lot. And we were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers.
In San Francisco, they actually get a stipend.
Have you seen the numbers now?
For real?
It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low, because
you get like, I think it's like 500 a month.
Talk about gotaways.
Yeah,
the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women
drugs
coming across our border. The worst thing I've
only
ever
in
seen.
America you get paid to be homeless.
That nobody's
So what you get, like a card or something, like, and it just gets like
coming across our border now.
They like repurpose it every month or refinance it.
Thank you,
The
President
EBC
Biden.
card.
Fentanyl and the byproducts of fentanyl went down.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never heard of that before.
And I
Shit.
want to make sure we use them.
Yeah, it's like they're I guess the theory behind it is encourage them not to be on the streets, but
and it costs a lot of money.
go,
That was part of this deal.
get a hotel, motel.
It's a bipartisan deal. More
Oh, okay.
fentanyl
Yeah, that's
machines,
crazy as hell.
more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers.
And if they do drugs, at least do it cleanly. Go
And
buy
when we had that
needles.
deal done, he went and called the Republican
Instead of,
Congress and
doing
don't
it
do it.
borders what?
like 30 needles and leaving it
No,
on the
he
street.
never argued it's not a good bill.
Oh,
So that's their thought
It's a really
process
good
behind
bill.
it.
Just
We
walk
need
across
those machines. We need those machines. We're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl, and Mexico is working with us to make sure.
Like
we
George,
have the technology
you've been to the studio.
together. That's
The
what
street where my studio's in, on Market.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, and again, the
10 years
question is
ago,
about
that was
Americans
you
in the
barely
throes
saw
of
any
addiction
homeless,
right
but
now
this is
struggling
downtown.
to get the treatment they need.
These are all the big stores there.
Because this does pertain to it.
But I think the
He
last
ended
2 years,
the
is
main
the
in
first time I've ever
Mexico.
seen homeless people come and
He
camp
ended catch and
build
release.
tents
I
and
made a
sleep on
catch and release
Market
in
Street.
Mexico, not catch and release here.
Yeah, because it looks like during the day what they must have to get up or something. Because yeah, it was cleared out when I came down there.
Yeah, they
It's
cleared
just
out
like when you have a
during the
hostage,
day,
we
but then
always
during the
pay
night they just come
$6
back and they
every time we
put up
say
their
a
tents and
hostage.
sleep there.
Now we have a hostage.
Oh,
the Wall
okay.
Street Journal reporter,
And the cities like welcome that.
and he's
The what?
over there because
The
Putin
cities is kind of cool with that. They don't have like a certain area that you could.
I will have him out very quickly.
Yeah, the city
as
is
soon as I take office.
they just
before I
tolerate it.
take
Yeah.
office,
The
I
police
said,
don't do anything
by
because they know
literally as soon as
they
I
can't
win the
arrest
election,
everyone.
I will
Yeah,
have that reporter
okay,
out.
sure.
He should have had him out a long time ago. But Putin's probably asking for billions and billions.
Yeah, I
of
saw
dollars.
like Portland, man. It's like bad out there, like on those streets, because they did something.
The states that are really bad are your blue
And I
states.
paid essentially nothing.
I'm independent, ma'am.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
I told you yesterday I'm selfish. That's my political affiliation is self-centeredness.
At the end of your second term, how do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Oh, this is a good
First
one.
of all, I spent half my career being
They didn't have term limits.
being the youngest
You
person.
cannot run for president
in
if you're over.
politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate.
No, that's funny, Rose. I was thinking to say, I was like, man, I didn't realize like how old they actually are until like y'all brought it to my attention yesterday.
Everyone in Congress.
Horrible situation. He left me.
Friggin'
As
Nancy
I
Pelosi,
said,
she should
15
be
million new jobs,
dead.
80,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions
Yeah,
of
Joe
dollars.
Biden looks like he
private investment
needs to be in a nursing home.
in enterprises that we are
Sure
growing.
does.
By the way, we brought off a lot of people. Well,
Give him his ice
the
cream.
whole idea of computer chips. We used to have 40%.
I see a lot of
more
pictures of him eating ice
We
cream.
invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending.
Yeah, shout
people-
out to them, man. When I hit a certain age, you couldn't pay me. Like I would do my one term, I would be like, I'm done. Like I'm enjoying the
Good Samsung to invest
stresses that come with that job.
in the United States.
That's
And
true.
guess what? Those fabs they call that to build these chips, those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's billions, about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before.
We are.
We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world who keeps our word, and everybody trusts us. All of our allies and our those who he cuddles up to.
I mean, we definitely need
Kim
a
Jong-un,
fierce,
sent
strong
love letters to, and Putin,
leader.
etc. They don't want to screw around with
But I
us.
do agree with him, man. America's the best, man.
It is.
You would be
It is the
82
best country in
at
the
end
world.
of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns
Career
about
politicians.
your
There should be no
ability
such
to
thing as
serve?
career
Well, I
politician.
took 2 tests,
Mostly
cognitive
surgeons.
tests. I aced it, both of them, as you know. They've been in public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go
You
through
know
the
that
first 5
they did a drug
questions.
test right before this. Did you know
But I
that?
took 2 cognitive
Oh, they did?
tests,
Yeah.
physical
Well, Trump did it
exams
to
every
prove to
year.
voters that he's
And,
physically
we
capable.
knock on wood wherever we may
He
have
asked
wood,
Biden to take
that I'm in
the
very
test.
good health. I
Biden
just
denied
won
it.
2 club championships,
Because
not
it's
even
from
2
different
years, 2
drugs.
regular club
Yeah,
championships. To do
drugs so
that,
we can actually
you have to be
stand and
quite
speak.
smart, and you have to be able to hit the
Yeah,
ball a
Trump
long
did a
way.
drug test right
And I
before
do it.
this.
He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match.
You
Can't
know,
hit a ball
you know
50
Biden
yards.
didn't take that test because he took
I
that
think I'm in
adrenaline
very
shot.
good shape. I feel
Right
that
before,
I'm as in good a shape as I
right before
was
this, right before
25,
this
30 years
debate.
ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one.
Environment.
And one of them said they've never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's it. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest.
How tall is Trump?
I got my handicap
Like
I know-
6'3" or something? 6'2", 6'3"?
down to a 6. And by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. You can do it.
That's the biggest lie. He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was at 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
Never.
But I had, you know how many?
Oh,
I've seen you
Lottery.
swing. I know you swing.
Okay,
Let's
let's
not
you know how
act
many
like
rounds-
children.
President
Joe.
Trump, we're going to
21
turn
Let's not act like children.
You
to
are
a
a
Oh.
specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is
Oh,
unacceptable?
These
Well,
are
I
stupid
shouldn't have to say that,
questions.
but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at
Why
the
would they
time,
ask that question?
and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen.
Yes,
In
but he's going to
addition
say
to the
yes, yes.
speech
I
made
agree to that
in
question.
front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. And I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. The only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody could imagine. We are very, very close to World War III,
pretty close.
and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III, let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is attack on all, a required response.
Tell him, Joe.
Yeah, I can't pick a single major
Article 5. Y'all listen up. No, I'm joking.
with the job I've done, what they've done. Because we are a powerful
I wonder if
nation.
they have an
We have
earpiece on,
wonderful-
or
it's because of the people.
that's not allowed.
It's because of the American people.
Nah, they
American
wouldn't allow him.
people step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed to protect the world because of our own safety is at stake. And again, You want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Why do they keep
Just to
asking that
finish
question?
what he said, if I might, Russia.
Because they
took a
want to
lot of land from
emphasize their
Bush.
talking
They
points
took a lot
are
of land from Obama and Biden.
they're obviously
They
not
took no
neutral.
land, nothing
Yeah.
from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it.
Come on,
He never
CNN.
played games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started ever with me. And he's going to take
Michelle's like,
Ukraine.
because the cult members don't.
And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia.
What's up, Michelle?
Because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time.
Will never
They're
win.
running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people. And they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President Trump,
president.
the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely. There's nothing I'd rather
You voted
do.
before?
It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again.
You voted before in the
I wasn't
past?
really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else in a nice
Durkin,
location.
you voted before in the
someplace.
past?
And again, no indictments.
Yes, yeah.
No political.
Voting is only
opponent
done.
stuff,
You have to
because it's the
physically,
only way he thinks he can
be at
win.
the
But
voting booth,
unfortunately,
right?
it's
The
driven
voting
up my
booth.
numbers
at the
and
place.
driven up
Now
to
they made it
a high
failed
level,
that
because the
vote.
people understand it.
I did mail-in ballots before, but yeah, you got to go in the booth, man. And then, like I said, they look at your ID before when you walk in there, and I think they scan your ballot because it got to match up. So
Do you believe that's how it should be? No, if you do mail-in ballots, that's
state or
mail-in
local.
ballot.
None.
That's easy. I mean,
You
how can you
continue
really?
to promote this
You have
lie
an ID to vote.
somehow there's all this misrepresentation.
You have to have an
on the screen.
address.
There's no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner.
You guys look at the polls when
idea,
they
if you lose again, you accept
way
it.
ahead, and at the very
Please
last
come
minute,
on.
Biden all of a sudden won. Come on now. They were ballot harvesting.
We'll be right back.
Oh, they cheated.
Hey, I don't know.
From
You
the CNN
guys hear that?
presidential debate,
Biden did some
live
shots.
from Georgia.
yeah.
He's such a whiner. Okay, Biden. That's my problem. If they do the mail-in ballots, how are you gonna authenticate that word?
Don't. It's easy to cheat if you mail in.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
said,
what I'm saying.
cheat.
Not necessarily, because I mean, it lines up. It should line up with your Social Security. You know.
You don't have to have a Social Security to vote.
No, I'm saying I mean I have to look at the ballot, but I know it ties into your individual. You know, they're gonna match it up. That's what I'm saying.
They won't match anything. They had so many votes from dead people.
I mean, like if you do the mail-in ballots, like your son could just do it for the dad. You know, nobody would know.
That's just one aspect. You gotta get the vote from like.
Oh, let me pull it up. Let me see what they have on the mail-in ballot.
How are they gonna authenticate it? That's the word. To make sure it's legitimate. That's the actual person that's voting. That sent and mailed the ballot. There's no way.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they want it so bad. The only party that wants mail-in votes is the Democratic Party.
The Democrats. Yep.
Because Republicans know they vote in person. And you kind of vote them. Like Trump, he won. He's like 70% of the population was for him or more. There's no way Biden has a shot. So they have to cheat. So they're desperate to cheat.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Let me know so far if you guys are watching. I see you guys are still watching the stream right now, so let me know what you guys think. Been quiet so far, so definitely stop ninja watching. And let me know what you guys think about the debate so far with Trump and Biden. Give me some commentary on the live chat.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now. So you must return a proof of your voter registration or a copy of your ID with the ballot. So that's how they verify it.
For mail-in?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I could be the son. I could mail in my dad's information and vote for him.
Dude, you can easily fake that shit with mail-in. You can't fake it in person if they require ID.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, say, like, it was like your scenario, my son did that. So he would pretty much forego his, kind of his vote. Because, like, once he submits mine, that's it. You know, so if I turn around and say, like, I wanted to vote, they'll catch that in that process. So he'll literally have to go make a copy of, like, your documentation and mail that in. I don't see too many people. Because, you know, fraud, honestly, if you look at the numbers, man, it's such a small percentage anyways. I think, like I said, for political reasons, people like make it think it's like this big thing, but them numbers are so low.
I mean, are they gonna really authenticate all the mail-in like votes?
Oh yeah, no, because that's what I'm saying. They got to process everything through that those machines and stuff. So it's like the technology is getting so much better that.
But that's the thing with using machines. You know, machines can be hacked. I think the old
because
school,
you know, they got to verify them before they even start, and then I think they like have to verify everything, and then even afterwards.
In his last term, we find ourselves in a situation where, number one,
in the old school way of just
we
counting
have to
votes,
make sure that we
just
have
have some
fair
people
tax
count the
system.
votes.
I ask anyone out there in the audience.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'd rather go in person, tell you the truth, but
yeah,
the fact is that I said nobody.
You know, technology is getting better though.
Single penny.
We got drones dropping stuff off at our house. Y'all gotta adapt, man.
Yeah, but this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit.
We got incels out here sleeping with robots. Y'all worried about some voter registration fraud?
And he finds himself in a position where he now wants to tax.
I don't lie, those robots are looking realistic.
Yeah.
I've been seeing the advertisements on online. I'm like, damn.
He wants to get away with get rid of.
Yeah, I was watching one thing, man. Them things they are getting livelier. Oh, these are the closing statements on them.
For us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35
boring
instead of
debate.
$100.
Debates are
$1,000.
boring.
It's boring because they don't have enough time to talk about one single topic.
That reduced the federal debt.
No, I agree with you, Will. It should be no more than like 3 topics, like y'all said, and it should you got to dive in deep. Yeah, they got to switch it up.
Yeah, they literally talked about 20, 25, 30 topics tonight.
Yeah, and they're like you said, so impactful. They only have 2 minutes on it.
Yeah, 2 minutes each question.
Increase the credits people have for childcare.
There's no rebuttal. You can't rebuttal against the other person to fact check that.
Pipes and all the things that are causing health problems for people across the country. We're going to continue to fight
the way they do
inflation and give people a break.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, you now have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax.
A 2-minute closing statement? Come on.
He doesn't do, all he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, for terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you. because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's never seen anything like, even from a medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get when you're terminally ill. Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it for 42 years. But you know what we did for the military was incredible. Choice for our soldiers, where our soldiers, instead of waiting for 3 months to see a doctor, can go out and get themselves fixed up and readied up and take care of themselves, and they're living. And that's why I had the highest approval rating in the history of the VA. So all of these things, we're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again.
Thank you, former President Trump, President Biden. Stay with us because we have
How did they
full
call
analysis
Trump
of this
former
debate.
president?
Anderson Cooper and Aaron Burnett starts.
Because you got the sitting president, so you can't technically have the same title going to both of them. But yeah, that was weird though when they said it. I was like, damn.
No. Even before the debate, they always call him former president. But whenever they address other presidents in the past, they always call them president, like President Obama, President Bush, but they never say former President Obama.
To make that.
Well, because I think just because he's running, to have that separation. If he wasn't running, then they'll just, like you said, they'll call him like president. But since it's this weird capacity, because this is the first time in history I think that this kind of happened.
Like Jill Biden, the first lady, has come out. Former President Trump walking off the stage. The first debate of the 2024 campaign and the earliest presidential debate ever, now in the books and in front of the voters. Tonight, along with Aaron Burnett, the first word on what those voters might make of it from our political professionals, from our CNN Flash poll and swing state focus group. We'll be talking to surrogates, including Vice President Harris, getting fact checks from our Daniel Dale and new reporting from inside both campaigns with me here. CNN
Yeah, next time, Will. I think what we should do is we do it live the day after, and then like I said, we could check some of it or hone in on certain areas and break it down and analyze it.
Anderson.
Oh yeah,
This was a game-changing debate in the sense that right now, as we speak,
I think that would be better because
in a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists. It involves elected officials. It involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party.
Not in Trump's debate stage.
They're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Others other of the conversations
they're trying to hype this up.
Prominent Democrats go public with that call, because they feel this debate was so terrible. They do say in moments in the debate later, the president got better and got his footing, but then at the end, even his closing statement was a little halting. The contrast between the two candidates. Let me be clear. None of them, and a lot of Republicans, don't think Donald Trump had a great night. Donald Trump broke the fact check machine more than I can count tonight. That will be on the record as we go forward. He refused to answer some very specific and direct questions about his conduct, about January 6th and what all. So that will be dealt with out there. And sometimes there's a parallel universe between the political elites and the American people. It'd be nice to see what the voters say. But I can tell you, it started minutes in. It started with the first couple of answers, and it has continued throughout the night from a, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, to what do we do about this? And it involves very senior people in the Democratic Party, including elected officials, saying we have a problem.
And just to co-sign what John is saying, I mean, the panic that I am hearing from Democrats is not like anything that I have heard in this campaign so far. And a lot of it has to do with, first of all, there was a deep frustration about Trump's lies. I mean, he lied a lot tonight. But the problem for Biden was that Trump was able to take
that's why I think he's got a fact checker.
Incredible falsehoods and turn them into some kind of argument.
Yeah, those fact checkers during COVID time,
in a lot of cases, not coherent. It's deeply problematic that he was not able to take pretty straightforward answers and answer them to the American public. And then also at points bringing things up that teed up Trump attacks. So there's a real concern here
Where did they get this source?
That there's been some real damage done.
They be talking to the people. So yeah, they were saying like after Biden's performance, man, they don't think it was that great.
Especially among
I have a
his
feeling they're going to
base.
pull
They
Biden
were
out and put
hoping
somebody
that
in.
tonight would be a game changer.
It's so
They are
late in the game now.
seeing
They you never know though, man.
who's in the White House, who they do not
They might put in
necessarily
Gavin Newsom,
believe
Yeah,
can
but put him
swing
in.
the
He's
David Axelrod.
Michelle Obama.
Look, I can't argue with
Or-
either of them about.
I think the Hail Mary is
how
The Rock.
the
If all
Democrat
else fails,
leaders,
they'll throw The
Democratic
Rock
leaders
in.
are reacting
Yo,
to this
Dwayne
poll.
Johnson, save
We
us.
said at the beginning that each person had a
There's no
fundamental goal, and for
He's
Biden,
working.
that goal
Biden
was
now
to
has no
appear
comment.
energetic, engaged,
Fucked
and
up
look
on
like someone who is
Hey,
capable
Will,
of serving
would
for
you ever
another
do
4
a
years.
presidential moderate a
That was
presidential
job number
debate?
one. I actually think
Would
he
I ever do
scored a
what?
bunch of points.
Would
I
you
think if
ever
you
moderate a
focused on
presidential
certain
debate?
policy stuff,
Of course.
he did score a
Oh, that's
bunch
pretty
of
cool.
points on issues
Hey,
like
man.
Yeah, I think I'll
abortion,
skip
for
out on that
example,
one.
on some of the economic
Like moderating, I'll be too
issues.
nervous, man.
But there is
But yeah, no, you're pretty poised for it. That's what I was asking.
A sense of shock, actually, at how he came out at the beginning
Yeah,
of this
I would
debate,
love to see Joe Rogan or Lex
how
Friedman
his
moderate it.
voice sounded
And that'll be.
about.
No, Joe's good. No,
I was
definitely.
looking at
He
the
did get stronger as
numbers
the
on
debate
YouTube.
went on, but by that time,
I'm
I
feeling
think
people
the
were watching
panic
the stream.
had set in, and I think you're going to hear
If Joe
discussions
Rogan or Lex Friedman
that I don't know
moderated,
will
that would
lead
be
to
like
anything, but
tens of millions
there
of
is
people.
going
Tens
to
of
be
millions.
discussion
Oh,
whether
definitely.
he should continue. And I think part of it is Donald Trump did not meet his mission either. He could not resist the attention, the
You're still talking about
temptation
Trump?
to be nasty,
Talk about both of
to
them. somewhat.
prevaricate about a whole bunch of things, about his own record, about Biden's record, and to seem petty and small at times. So what you saw was a candidate who's deeply vulnerable and a president who may not be able to take advantage of it.
Listen, if anybody in America thinks that was even close to being an okay debate by Joe Biden, I'm living in a parallel universe. That was an unmitigated disaster for President Biden from the second he walked out to the closing statement. The biggest issue for Democrats is abortion, and he couldn't give an answer. He gave an answer, he couldn't even give a coherent answer.
Yeah, he just talked about
issue for
laws.
Democrats tonight. I've heard from leading Democrats across the United States, elected governors, congressmen.
The thing is,
who are
you
texting
can't
me
expect
and
them to give an
saying,
answer
"I'm
in 2
worried
minutes.
I'm going to lose if Joe Biden's at the top of the ticket."
Yeah, it's
2 minutes
hard.
is not
Bob
enough
Casey, I
time.
promise you tonight, in the state of Pennsylvania, is thrown up in his mouth because he knows if he's got to stand next to Joe Biden, he's going down in Pennsylvania.
If this
he's
was
on the
like
ticket,
a
I don't know
4
how
or
it's gonna
5
work.
hour
Yeah,
debate,
look, it was a really
you give him enough
disappointing
time
debate
to
performance from Joe Biden. I don't think there's any other way to slice it.
respond,
His
then
biggest
we'll really see
issue that he
their
had to
true
prove to the
response
American
to these,
people was that he had
to
the
these
energy,
topics.
he had the stamina, and he didn't do that. And
Yeah, it was like an
so
hour and a
I
half.
think that is of concern, and I
They
think
covered
for a lot of
literally like
Democrats,
20
that's
20
very
topics.
disappointing.
Yeah,
I
it was a
will
lot of
say
topics.
Donald Trump
There's a lot of
also
topics we
had
covered
some
in
really
an hour
rough
and a half.
moments in this debate, and talking to the Biden campaign, they say their dials started really moving away from Trump as he was increasing his personal attacks on Biden. So I think there was a lot about his kind of character and the kind of personal nastiness that he was putting on display, that doesn't help him with the swing voters that he needs. And I also think you saw him continue to get sort of more and more animated across the course of the debate and, give some really problematic answers about January 6th, some really problematic answers about Putin. So, Donald Trump did not get off scot-free tonight by any stretch. But look, there is no two ways about it. That was not a good debate for Joe Biden.
And that was painful. I love Joe Biden. I work for Joe Biden. He didn't do well at all.
At least they're honest though, man. That's what I think I do give CNN, man. They're pretty
I'll give you the analysis. You kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country.
a little dramatic with
He's
this.
doing the best he can.
It's like get to the damn point. It's like,
To restore confidence.
I don't know about the good man part,
of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now. We're still far from our convention, and there is time for this party to figure out a different way forward if he will allow us to do that. But that
Ooh.
was
You're setting it up.
not what we
You're
needed.
setting it
Yeah. They're like, look, player, you got to go.
Yeah,
It's not just panic,
exactly.
it's
They're setting
pain
it up so that way
of
they
what
can
we saw
replace him with somebody else.
And if I may just
Nah,
add to
at first I thought you was a little crazy when you said that, but nah, they're pushing out. They're like, hey, Joe, I'm gonna hit you up after this.
their friends.
These are
But
coming
if the
from his
president is
people.
up to the
They're setting
task,
it
and
up.
if
They're
he
Yeah,
setting it
no,
up.
definitely.
And I'm
Because
someone
yeah,
who
Van Jones was in his
former president is a threat to
his like inner
democracy. I think
circle.
he is a threat
They're
to the
I'm telling you,
America
it's gonna
as we
happen.
know
They're
it. He
gonna
wants
put
to
Gavin
fundamentally change
Newsom
our
or Michelle
institutions.
Obama.
He has laid out what
But
his
see,
plan
I
is.
never thought
I
they
am
should have
not
put him in the
confident that
forefront
that is
to
the
begin
mandate
with. That's
from
why
the
I was telling a
president.
few
Not
people, I was
on the
like,
line and
hey,
then give
they
that
should have ran
performance
somebody
today.
else, man.
Based
Yeah,
on that,
why
in
wait?
18
Why
weeks, Donald Trump will
wait to
be
this?
the president-elect.
It's
The
already too
people
close to
doing focus
election.
groups tonight,
Election
and we'll
time.
see if our
Yeah.
dial group with Laura Coates confirms this, say that Biden actually
I just think
scores
as a
pretty well on the
society, man, we should have just paused and been like, you know what? I like Nikki Haley, and they Democrats should have definitely ran somebody else.
and he
You
was
know, so
refusing
I
to
think it
answer
should have just been some new
it
people.
was the
Like,
tone.
hey,
They don't like it. When you see that, when you see
the
sort of
the Go Younger campaign. That's what we should have called it.
like, oh, that's a mixed bag. But to Van's point about the president's performance, that's what caused the panic. So the question is, and my question actually is, what happens? Because to it's a great political strength of Joe Biden is his resilience and his.
You said a week.
It's also sometimes a blind spot because he is so stubborn. It's going to be very hard for someone, and I don't know who it is, who could go to Joe Biden and say,
I don't know, man. These
you need to
politicians
do
be
this.
stubborn, man. Like,
number one,
they won't take the hint, man. It's like ego.
I'm just telling you, to Abby's point, I've been.
But
doing
yeah,
this
maybe
for
they'll put that
35
pressure on
years,
them, though.
going on 40 years, and I have never, ever had what happened on this thing tonight happen in the middle of a debate. It started early and it continued. And to Van's point, Van made a very important point. These are people who love Joe Biden, who credit Joe Biden for kicking Donald Trump out of the White House. They're Democrats. The Democratic Party is a very diverse party. It fights about a lot of things. It has generational issues. It has regional issues and everything else. The thing that unites the Democratic Party is trying to keep Donald Trump from getting back into the White House. They love Joe Biden for kicking him out. They don't want him back. They came into this debate nervous that Biden was in a weak position. They leave this debate panicked.
John, if you love the guy, how could you put him out there?
That's
if you love him.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
that was my father. You don't put a guy in that situation.
It's a great point. These guys know this better. These guys know this better because they talk to them. There's this legacy in the Democratic Party. You don't challenge the incumbent because when it's happened in the past, they haven't beaten the incumbent, and then the incumbent has lost the general election.
It was actually Donald Trump that helped make Joe Biden the nominee because there was a feeling that if there were a primary, that would weaken, that Biden would probably win, but it would weaken him in a general election. And so there were people who could have run and didn't run because the history of that is bad. The point is now he is the nominee of the Democratic Party. This isn't the 60s, okay? Voters choose the nominee. He is the nominee. Only he can decide whether he's going to continue. And as you point out, and as
that's what I'm
Kate
saying.
knows
That's
very
the
well,
difficulty.
this is
That's where the ego come in.
And who believes in himself.
So Biden could be like, y'all kiss my ass. I'm still running.
I think I'm going to walk away from this. I find it hard to believe.
It was also, and I'll let you, I know Scott, you should try to jump in, but it was also, it was an atypically bad performance, okay? And it was also one night. So yes, was it an important night? Yes, but it was one night in the course of the campaign.
The only debate they're going to have?
I think they got some other ones. I don't think it's too many, but you know, he might scrap them after this. But like,
that helped confirm people's fears. It's the one night that everybody was watching. That was essentially, you know, Trump said,
"We're too close to the election."
That was his test, and people
Democrats talk about
going to feel that he came up
negatively about their own
substance. I think he actually won on the substance.
Unless they have
I don't think Trump did well. I think what it says to a lot of people, a lot of active Democrats, is, man, we can beat this guy, but I don't know if we can beat him with the president.
Scott, we haven't heard from you.
When we came on before this debate, I said I thought this candidacy was teetering, and everybody jumped on me.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Every single person out here, and I just
pop your collar.
The candidacy has fallen. Okay, Van, I know you're speaking from your heart. I'm worried about the president. We should pray for the president. I think his advisors, I think the White House, and I think his family have a lot of explaining to do to their party and to the American people. This night, this one night, was caused by and asked for by the Biden team. They wanted this night.
Yeah, they wanted this.
And this is what we got. We have been told for weeks by Democrats who say, oh, in private meetings, I've seen Joe Biden do cartwheels and handstands while doing trigonometry while solving all the nation's problems. We now know that every single person who said that has been lying to the American people,
including Kevin McCarthy.
We've been told, Kate.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Kate, everything we've been told about his mental acuity by these Democrats has been a lie, and everything we think we knew has been confirmed. I got a text from a friend. She's not terribly political. She'd maxed out
To be fair, Biden did a lot better than I thought, but
Donald Trump.
He's still not at the level where I
will
can
never
have confidence in his ability
the
to
Democratic Party
run the country.
for this election. If the Democrats truly believe that he is an existential threat to democracy, and that's not just some talking point, they will wake up in the morning and they will do something else because this is not sustainable.
That's another point about there are Democrats who are panicking.
I mean, I don't think either one did great.
Did not
you
want
know,
to vote for Donald Trump, who do not want to
and
vote
it's
for
probably
Donald
just because, like you said, the setup.
panicking tonight. I heard from
You know,
one
like
who said
because you know, even I think Joe Biden missed the opportunity because you know, like the point where they were like talking about Donald Trump's legal situation. You know, if I would have been like say his opponent, I'd be like, look, man, that's for the courts to handle. I'm more focused. Let's just talk about our plans and the economy. Like, I don't need to go in his like personal affairs and shit. Like if he was, you know, messing with a porn star. So I didn't like the fact that they was digging in that. Me personally, like an opponent, I'm like, man, I ain't involved in none of that bullshit. Y'all got like legal matters to just solve that. Let's talk about, you know, immigration, Ukraine, whatever. But I'm not going to chime in on his personal life. That has nothing to do with me.
Third-party candidates getting into double digits,
that's true.
then that's really starts to twist your electoral math, state depending on who they're drawing from state by state. This was already a very complicated
most
race.
people were just watching the debate.
Number one, the biggest complication right now is the conversation with the Democratic Party. But the other complication is going to be if Joe Biden stays put, and Kate's right. Maybe.
Well, I mean, like you said, they're definitely old, and you know, there's like you said, you could see some slipping a little bit, but I also think there's a lot of distraction too with. That's what I said with both of them, man, because you know, that type of legal stuff that's going on, you know, with his son Hunter Biden, you got that distraction.
There's a change at the top.
It's just, and then you know, even Donald Trump, he's got to deal with whatever those things are coming at him.
The guy who was up there,
Man, it's just a lot, man. You know, they're humans at the end of the day, so I think people forget that type of stuff. And you know, when you're getting older, it's just like, man, that's what I was saying earlier. I don't see how they're even running. I'll be like, man, I'm good. I got my term as president, my name in the history books. I'm good, man. Y'all put some new blood in there.
I think he did well on immigration. I think he did well on the economy. I think he did well on inflation. I think he went back to Afghanistan as he should have. The thing he did not do was, after he realized that he had Biden beaten on policy and on image, he should have turned the page and sounded an optimistic note about what we can become as a people and as a country. He did not do that. He continued to pummel Joe Biden all night. I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the night, very few
Watch the
things
screen
about
was
the
good, man.
policy
Hey, what's up? Watch the
changes
screen.
is going to be remembered.
Hold on, my boy.
We're going to remember Joe Biden. They're going to remember him shuffling out.
What do you think about the debate so
They're going to
far?
remember him staring blankly into the camera.
It was crazy.
They're going to remember him looking down, losing his train of thought. And they're going to remember
the
that
stuttering that Joe Biden was doing in
the
the
White House
camera, that
told me,
was
don't
really.
believe my own eyes, is
I felt
actually
sad,
true.
actually.
That's not what I said. That was
Nah, I didn't even know no funny shit like that. And I'm, you know, I'm
if there was another candidate, I think Donald Trump would
that
be
was like,
yeah, but that
was right. Like,
If I made that is such a sad state of affairs.
and I didn't like how Trump was coming at his son and shit because,
What
like,
a bad debate
I
in
was-
the sense
I
that
was
Donald
slapping
Trump
the shit out of
lied
somebody
throughout.
in
He
real life.
misrepresented,
Yeah.
tried to run away.
There's
from
some of the
the
shit he
point
was saying.
given the
So
answers on and kept
I
and
really
kept
felt sad. Like, it's like an
any normal
old
generic
dude. Like, you know,
Democrat
I mean,
next to him,
I don't
I
fuck
think
with
he
him.
would
He's,
have
you
won
know, he
tonight.
says he's done
But you
some
put somebody who was
horrible shit,
suffering
but,
from the
you know.
moment that they got out. It was hard to watch.
But y'all
and
think,
the
what do you think,
occasionally looked away
Will?
because it was so uncomfortable. I think America
No, I
deserves
think
better than the options that are in front of
it
them.
actually
It's
played
really
out exactly
devastating.
how I
By the
thought
way,
it was going to
our
play out.
allies are watching.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm not a big
the
fan
way
of
that
this.
I would
I'm
try
not a
to
big
phrase
fan
it
of
if I was
these
emotional
this
is,
format of debates because
Biden stuttered.
they
but
have
he
2
told
minutes to
Trump,
respond to every
"You look
questions that you
terrible.
need to like.
Those
We need
policies
more
look terrible."
time for them to kind of
Trump
break
spoke
down.
plainly, but he
Yeah.
lied the whole time.
So we didn't. I
And
mean,
he
you don't
looked
really
good,
get
but his
anything out of
policies
these
were
debates
terrible.
because
I
all
mean,
the
he's
all
gonna
the
do nothing
responses
on
are
climate
surface
change.
level.
He was hugging the
And
cactus
there's,
on the
Yeah,
there's,
all
and
the
there-
Those policies are
all
terrible.
the
So you have somebody who
probably
all
should.
it's just very contrived. Yeah, I agree with you. Like,
It's like they're all like it's
So-
like they
so we
wrote
have
the
a
responses on
problem as a country now,
a note
and this
card,
might
and
be an
then they just read
opportunity
it.
for people to come
They
together and
already
figure this out,
memorized
because
it, and
neither
then
one
whatever
of those
question they
people right
gave,
now are
they
inspiring
just
the
responded.
confidence
But
that
by
they
the
should
response, they wrote
inspire,
in a note
that they
card.
can do the job in a way that would be good,
And
good for the country.
they need
But young
they need more
voters are
time
up for grabs in this
to
election, and
discuss
I
and
don't
break
know
down
a
these
voter
topics, so
under
you
30
can
who
really
would have
see if they
watched
have
tonight
a
and would say,
knowledge
I
of
have
or
confidence in Joe
understanding of
Biden
what
and
they're talking
casting my
about.
vote for 4 more
No,
years
I
of
agree.
Biden.
And there's no rebuttal. You
this
can't
opens the
rebuttal.
door, by the way,
You
for the
can't go back and
conversation
forth. So
about
Yeah, the mainstream
Joe
is
Biden remains
done
the
that.
candidate.
it's not. I mean,
You're not
you don't
voting
really
for
get a
Joe
lot
Biden.
out of this
You are voting
debate.
for President Kamala Harris. Let's be honest.
I think the only thing
That is where the Trump
everybody was
campaign is
watching,
going to go with this.
for me
They started
personally,
down this road with a
only
ad they
reason why I
released
wanted to
today.
watch this is to
But
see
this
Biden is
conversation about
physically
who
able
you're
to
actually casting your vote for,
able to
the
have a
volume is going to
conversation
ratchet up. And I got news for
Trump.
you. She's less popular than he is.
Yeah, I was
That is
surprised he
going to
got through
be
pretty
a
smoothly.
big problem for the
He
Democrats.
did.
if
He
this
did
ticket
pretty.
stays the way
He
it
did
is.
better than I
Yeah, Scott's
expected.
Democratic
Hell
Party
yeah, hell yeah,
maxed out,
hell
right?
yeah.
That's the sentiment you're
But
going to hear.
Biden was definitely drugged up like early on in, like he was just talking like on
I can't
autopilot.
believe this is where we are, right?
Like
Yeah.
his lips are
I don't
just
forget. I can't.
they
I'm not
get
going to
the
be able
body.
to in this position.
On
But
the
I also
lies
think
about on Donald Trump's lies. I mean, I spent a lot of time thinking about this.
Hey, watch the
throughout
screen, man. Put your IG in
in the media.
private chat so we can hit you up.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I'm rocking with y'all. Like I fucking
at
with
this
y'all
point.
too, man.
But people watching
Yeah,
from
you
home
definitely
do
got to start
not.
pulling up more, man.
And
No, I pull up every
Biden's
time, bro. I'm
job
fucking with
as
y'all,
the
man.
other
Yeah,
person
no
on the other
doubt,
side
man.
of the stage
Where y'all from?
is to be the one to
I'm
very
up in
quickly
Virginia right now.
sense the alarm
I'm from New
and
York.
to shut them down.
Okay,
And I
I'm
don't
from
think that
Brooklyn.
happened
Yeah.
enough
Oh, for real?
times in
Yeah,
a coherent way
What part?
to blunt the
Flatbush.
fact that Trump was taking
Oh, okay,
a
okay.
universe that was
Yeah,
built
shoot,
on
shoot
our
music.
That's
lies
die.
I
and
direct
building
music videos for a living.
building a whole
Oh,
world
for real?
for
Okay,
the
okay.
Yeah,
millions of
Davies,
people
Benny the
watching.
Butcher.
And so
On
that
some of the most
Oh,
basic
damn, no doubt.
subject matters that
and
President Biden should have been able
Yo,
to
if
just.
you go if you go to social media, they're already posting
it was not knocked down
clips of
by
Biden
the
stirring
president.
and
That is really the
Hell
heart
yeah, I
of
posted
the
shorts of that shit
He was
ASAP.
Oh, you
making
already
this
put it out too?
Hell yeah, I was recording shorts ever since.
already
Yo,
it's already
no,
on
look,
social media already.
one time I posted a short of the Cat
like
Williams
Donald Trump,
interview.
who
And
goes
that
like
shit
a
like got
mile
like
a minute
400,000
on
views. That
things
gave
that
me
are
like
not true.
mad
And
subscribers. I
if
got
you
like
are
1,000
being
subs
trapped,
overnight. I was like, oh, this
no one at home
is
is
how you
trapped.
do
No
it.
one
Like
at home is trapped.
popular
not sure.
events
I don't
get
think
little
you're giving
shorts
viewers
from
enough
the
Yeah,
credit.
yeah,
I
definitely.
think what they saw was the Trump that they didn't like, and I don't think he did himself.
So
a
y'all
great
y'all
service.
saying we
Yes, and I also
will
think
you say Biden? I mean
voters
Trump
absorb
won.
this and see what they say, right? Let's
Yeah,
look
they
at
might
the
have
the
to
dialogue.
debate.
Let's look at
Yeah.
the
I mean,
let's look where they are next week. Let's
I
look at those
expected
announcements.
Trump to win this
Ultimately,
debate.
voters have to absorb
Definitely.
it.
Turn your mics off, guys.
Real quickly
Turn
on,
your mics off.
on the one thing that that Biden did fact check him on the Charlottesville
You
thing.
watch it. Oh,
He was
watch
completely
everything.
wrong.
Okay.
Right, so he's up there talking about Charlottesville and Trump not denouncing the two sides. And Snopes was out last week, 7 months, like 7 years too late, kind of thing on the deal. And that's the thing. Joe Biden's going to fact check him.
Watch the screen is my channel. So
We're gonna more with the panel out here. A lot of notable moments, painful moments from tonight.
I'm already
but as we've been talking about, perhaps
Watch everything.
single
777.
defining
Okay.
one.
That's my
early on.
Instagram. I'll drop my channel.
All right.
You streamed the
Yeah,
whole
my man
debate.
said Flatbush over there, huh?
They let. I live in Jersey now though.
Oh, okay. What part of Jersey?
They let you North Jersey, like Little Falls area.
Oh, okay, okay.
They let y'all stream the whole debate. It wasn't tripping on y'all. I know they was tripping on a lot of people.
Well, the CNN they were just concerned with the big channels. You know, the good thing about being a little small channel, they don't care.
Yeah, I know Russell.
Yeah, they give you a pass until you get big. They,
Yeah,
they,
you get
flag
big.
everything.
You have a lot of influence, and then they care. But if you're a small channel, you're streaming this, they don't care.
Yeah, Russell Brand was trying to goddamn do it, and they shut him down.
Yeah, yeah. Like they CNN sent out CNN reached out to YouTube for YouTube to reach out to the big content creators to tell them, hey, if you're gonna stream the debate, you have to reach out to CNN first to get permission.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
that's crazy. They don't own that shit.
yeah.
That's crazy.
No, okay. That's it. I guess that's it for tonight.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah, nah, definitely a terrible debate. Rose said Joe Biden won.
Clearly.
Let's get everybody's.
A monkey could be Joe Biden. That's how bad he is.
Rose said Joe Biden, she's switching over to the Democratic Party after watching that debate. Tell them what you told us in the back, Rose.
Swami mommy.
I said monkey could be Biden.
Swami mommy, that's fine.
They need to have fifth graders up. You know that show, the fifth grader show? They need to have fifth graders because those fifth graders are smart. Get those guys to debate on these topics.
I know.
They definitely got to switch that format, man. Yep. Like I like what you were saying, man. Get them in a room, man. Like sit back in a chair, like they have a drink and shit. You know,
yeah.
Loosen up. You know that.
Yeah, the no crowd thing is. I wasn't feeling that.
Yeah, at first I thought that would be good, but like no.
It makes it more entertaining.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but it's also good to pull.
It was like the boringest debate ever in the history of debates.
But it's also good to put a little pressure. You know, with the crowd, you know, put the pressure on these guys. You know, you got to perform under pressure with people watching.
It's boring because Biden's not a challenge. It's like watching a game where you have a game that slaughters the other team, and it's like you want to watch a game where it's like toe to toe, 1 point left, 3 seconds on the clock. Who's gonna win?
That's true. That's what I was saying. It just sounded like they memorized
talking points.
The talking points on their note card. And then they just repeated everything they memorized. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know, this is just a theory, but I'm pretty sure they sent the questions.
Yeah,
they did. Absolutely.
They should do a debate where it's like random questions get popped out so no one knows. Like the audience puts questions in and they just pick questions from below.
Look, have a live audience and then at the end do a Q&A.
Okay.
With the live audience.
Good.
Right, do the debate and then like maybe the last 30 minutes do a Q&A with the audience and let them go to work.
But I like what Rose is saying. Like it would be random. Like it's like, man, you have like 40 different topics, whatever, but you just have a machine and you randomly draw them out, and that will put them on a spot where it's just like you got to speak to this. You got only 3 for the time period topics that we're going to pull. You got
to like they should do polls of all the questions and depending on the polls of what people want answers to, and then just do it like.
They usually have like user submitted questions like from schools and shit like that, you know. But
they have to have questions from intelligent people. Schools are stupid. People are bored.
You think everybody dumb? She done went off on us last night, called us all stupid.
Oh yeah, I missed that. Well, where are you from, Swami?
Well, my parents are not from America, but I'm American.
You're American.
What's your nationality?
My mom's from Samoa. My dad's from Hungary.
Oh, okay.
Why
you look like you're in Japan right now in that crib. That shit is like very Japanese.
It's my little music studio.
Fire.
Thanks.
Yeah, it looked like Japan. That's like Japanese vibes.
What do you guys think? Who benefited from this debate as far as the polls?
Obviously, Trump.
Senior citizens. Old people benefited from that.
Swingers.
Nah, definitely. I'll say Trump. He got a bump off of this.
Yeah.
Nah, no doubt. Shit, even the CNN panel, you know, that they like I said, they're pretty more like liberal towards the middle. So for them to kind of like bash him like that from the rip,
let me ask y'all something.
It's a wrap for Joe.
Don't you think it's like embarrassing though? Like, so they talked about you know, they talked about abortion. They talked about like what's the other shit? Like LGBT stuff like that. But yo, how they ain't mention like men's health awareness and all that shit like on, you know, men's health awareness month, you know, mental health awareness month. Like it just shows they don't give a fuck about men, and it's fucked up, bro. That shit is embarrassing.
Did they bring up mental health at all?
No.
Nah, but they talked about women's rights. They talked about and shit like that for the most part, which is like
men get no love, man.
Yeah, that shit is fucked up.
Yo, we'll get a pet month before you get a men's health month.
Literally men's mental health awareness month, and like I ain't seen anybody post anything about that kind of stuff. And like for a presidential debate to happen, and like the supposed crisis that's going on with like a lot of young men and shit like that, or men in general, like for them not to bring that up, that I just thought about that just now. I'm like, that's very eye opening. Like it It's nasty out here. It's gonna be nasty.
I think Rose need to take that on and support men more.
Who?
Rose, Swami, mommy.
Mental health.
I think.
What do you think about that, though, Swami?
Well, there's a big crisis with mental health. My husband's actually he's writing a program to help men with mental health right now because he's in prison, and if anything, if he knows mental health, the crisis with mental health with men more than anything. So we're actually creating a program together on that to help guys with that.
How long have you been incarcerated for, if you don't mind?
He's actually on the phone with me right now.
Yo,
tell him what's up.
Luke.
He can hear you guys.
He can.
He can hear you guys on the phone.
Oh yeah, tell him I said hold his head for sure. My cousin just got out too.
What do you think about the debate? Who won?
What's going on, gang?
Can you guys hear him?
Yeah, I can
hear him.
I can hear him.
Yeah, he was watching the debate from prison. So, baby, what do you think of the debate?
I think Biden got slaughtered. You know.
What did he say?
It's clear he got slaughtered.
Biden got slaughtered.
Yeah, he said Biden took that L.
That's crazy. They can watch. He can watch it in there. They got the TVs and shit in there, right? You watching on the phone or something like that? That's hard.
They have tablets in prison now, so they can.
They got tablets.
Yeah, they have tablets.
When he get out, he got to do that content on like what it is like in there. That kind of content goes crazy right now. Like talking about your experiences.
He wants to do some podcasting too.
Hell yeah, that shit goes.
I would think most. I don't think there's a. Are there Democrats? Are there Democrats in prison?
Baby, are there Democrats in prison?
Most people are liberals in this joint, and the problem with that is liberals are criminals. They continue this behavior, and then these criminals get out to the streets and fuck up our communities. It's like these liberals are perpetrating, and I'm not feeling that. You know, I come from a gang background in South LA, and I've seen the damage that I did. I'm currently walking off a homicide for killing a gangster, and I've seen the ripple effects of my actions, and I to my senses that I'm one of the ones that's harming my communities, and I turn my life around. I see how liberal politics, all these gangbangers and dope dealers and dope fiends that continue fucking up our country, and how I'm gonna sit here like a Uso, a Samoan brother, and stand up for my community, but not speak against this crime shit, the crime that's fucking up my Samoan community, and call myself a Uso. I wouldn't be right. So as an Uso brother, locked up, I'm a pillar, and I try to reach out to Usos to change their life in prison, so that when they reach the community again, they can lift up our peoples instead of tearing them down. So that's my life aims in here. But yeah, there's a lot of liberals up in here.
Okay.
Oh, that's dope that you reaching out to people, man.
That kind of makes sense.
He actually converted his cousin's one of the most dangerous criminals in America. He converted him from Democrat to a Republican, so now he loves Trump, and he's like going hard on Trump because he didn't know. My husband explained like all the policies. He's like, "Oh no, really? Huh, baby?"
No, that's real. That makes sense though.
It's fucking our minorities up. Yeah.
It is. It really is.
It keeps us locked up. It's like locking us up. Look at this, for Republican states like Texas, they give them parole. Democrat states, they keep us in jail.
Yeah, he's in Washington. In Washington, they don't have parole.
Or Washington State, yeah, that's liberal territory up there, huh?
Most liberal, and they're like they don't do anything for criminals. Like they'll coddle them, but like as far as their policies go, they're horrible.
They destroy minority communities. These policies, but they let the drug addicts and the gangbangers run amok.
It's true.
That's true. But yeah.
So I just want to listen to you guys.
Yeah, he's just listening to you guys.
That's all good. It's all good. Yeah, but I just want to get your final feedback before we close up the pod for tonight. Great. I didn't really get, for me personally, I didn't really get a lot out of that debate. It went exactly how I envisioned. I'm not a big fan of that format. 2 minutes to answer a lot of issues that definitely needed to be discussed and broken down. But I think Trump won that debate, but I think Biden did perform a lot better. I thought he was probably going to pass out maybe 30 minutes into it, but he survived.
He said pass out.
Oh, I'm surprised he survived too.
Yeah, the entire, he got some cool points from me for actually standing up and maintaining the whole debate. So, but I promise you, they probably gave him a shot of adrenaline. They drugged him up real good.
They really did.
for that podcast. But yeah, I would love to see a like a 3-4 hour debate and then have a moderator and just let them go to work, common topics, and there's no time limit. I let them go back and forth. But because these debates, these are the debates where people want to know about who's going to be running the country, and I don't think this debate did any good for the people trying to figure out who they should vote for.
Nah.
I don't think people got anything out of it of value. So,
yeah,
but so that's my thoughts on it. I'll pass it to you guys. What do you guys think? I'll pass it to you, Rose. What's your thoughts on the whole debate?
Definitely the boringest debate I've ever seen. I mean, it was obvious. Everyone knew before this debate happened that Trump was going to slaughter Biden. I guess they just had to see it happen. There was really no value, like you said, that you got out of it as far as it was just saying rigmarole going on as far as this. I mean, the talking points and the questions were horrible. They didn't go over anything that we really wanted to hear that we don't know about. That's what debates are supposed to cover, topics that everybody wants to hear solutions to that hasn't been spoken about between the two. And that didn't happen. So I had no idea why this happened, but it happened, and it just benefited Trump. So
yeah, one topic that a lot of people want to figure out is what are you going to do with my grocery prices? Yeah, that's a question that people want to know.
Yeah.
Even go over taxes. That's the most important thing is taxes. Like, what are the taxes going to be like? Are the taxes going to go down?
Also, for what's their plan to make homes affordable for people to buy their own houses? Because right now,
that's a pretty big one.
That's a big one. That's a big one too.
Is housing.
Your housing, the housing crisis, like those are the issues like that affects the common people that we really want to know about. What are you going to do for us? But really, didn't hear none of that. Okay, thank you, Rose, and shout out to your man as your husband as well for his commentary. good to hear from him. I'll pass it to you. Watch everything. Thank you for jumping on at the end. But what's your thoughts? And also, if you don't mind me asking, what's your where do you stand politically?
Kind of undefined,
Hey.
Yeah, I know you.
Don't get scared now.
No. Yeah, I really am. Like, I really never like labeled myself politically, but I mean, I would really have to delve in to see where. But I know, I guess like I'm on conservative on on certain things, and and probably gotten more conservative as the times pass, as well as like if you were left a while, like a couple years ago, your ideologies now, if you stood fast, would be considered right, today, and that's something you have to, because things have shifted so much. So
that's a good
I feel
point.
like, that's something to recognize too. So it really is hard to say nowadays, but the debate, it was just a reflection, of the country. It's like really, it's on its last legs, and Trump was right about that. Like, it is a failing country. Like, country's in a failing state, or whatever he said, and him making those kind of statements, that's the kind of truth we need, because the other side is just trying to give you, at least him in that debate specifically, it was that traditional presidential debate method of, things are on the up and up. We're going to do better. This is what I propose, that kind of style, and people are jaded. We have Twitter, we have X, we have people fact checking live and all that stuff. So people are jaded. So that doesn't work, nowadays. So Trump's style works now. He understands the style and the climate of people. People are more nihilistic, more apathetic, and more cynical. So he understands you have to take that exaggerated approach and, just kind of be sporadic, and, he gets it. So, I definitely, he definitely got the best of that debate, and we'll see what else happens. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting race for sure.
All right. No worries. All right. Thank you so much. Watch everything.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Vin, Vin on the live chat said, why didn't they bring up the OnlyFans epidemic? That would have been a great question. Like they did a Q&A at the end, and then somebody in the crowd was like, hey, how are you going to solve the OnlyFans epidemic?
Well, that's another problem. Like we don't have those. We're not able to have those discussions. That's the type of pod people will tune in and watch. Like, yeah,
I want to know what you're gonna do with the OnlyFans epidemic.
Yeah, we're not able to talk about
304s alone. They necessary, man.
Yeah, I think it's.
So, what do you got? What's the problem with OnlyFans?
Nothing at all.
Nothing. I don't have a problem with it.
What do you mean? There's a problem. What?
Hey, OnlyFans is just a product of.
No. There's a problem with OnlyFans. Hold on.
There's a market for it. There's a lot of men out there that's
supply and demand, man.
The average child is exposed to pornography in this country at 11 years old. All right, so there's a problem with OnlyFans. Yeah, there's a problem with this rampant, promiscuous, this whore culture we're in. This is a whore culture. This is prostitution. That's open air digital prostitution.
But who's supplying the whore culture?
Prostitution has always been around since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. I understand that, but it doesn't make it right, though. So has murder. So is cannibalism.
Aren't censoring their kids' phones. It's the parents' fault.
I agree.
I agree. The OnlyFans.
Go out and find it. Like, have a friend that had maybe a Playboy magazine. Like, it was hard to be around that.
But did you just say what is 11-year-old? I said the average kid sees it at 11. So, like, what is an 11-year-old like have? He doesn't have the control. Like, it's clearly through the internet, and like a lot of we have never put the only in these last couple of years have we put the onus on on women as like why y'all always posting y'all ass and
because you guys want it.
No, that's not why. No, we don't want that shit. We don't about that shit.
Demanded it, there would never be a supply. So don't blame it on women. It's all men.
Wait. How is it? How is it men's fault for women exploiting? Women are exploiting men.
Let me pass it to Turk. That's a whole nother topic we're gonna discuss.
That's a good subject. We definitely gotta do this subject.
We have to talk about OnlyFans. I'll probably make that another topic for a future show. We'll break down the OnlyFans. But I agree. I don't agree with the OnlyFans, but I also understand in reality that there's a market for it, and the market is men. And they're the ones subscribing and paying for these OnlyFans to be able to have a career, have a job in it. So
watch the screen tripping tonight.
It is what it is.
Why?
Think about it, man. If you remove all those type of things, man, you can have these dudes all that backup. They could be out here active shooters and shit. We need the street safe. 304s is necessary.
Yeah, they do have
a stop tripping. Watch the screen. You could have us up out here getting blazed up.
That's true. But I don't know. It's a lot.
I mean, back in the day, they kept that in the dark, but now it's out in the open. That's the only difference. Back in the day, they had whores, but they had like a certain part of town where like
they were shamed. They
had their own little area in town where they did that. But now it's like up in public now. That's the only difference today.
Yeah, that's.
But that part of town is needed. We just have a lot of stressed out men out there that are about to break.
It does need to be reined in, though. I do agree with them on that. It's too accessible now. They flooded the market with it, boy.
Reined in, it's mainstream. It's like culturally accepted to exploit men sexually. And it's disgusting. It's really.
Exploit is hard. I don't know the word is exploit. They're participating voluntarily.
No, they're being exploited. when you have OnlyFans chicks who are have a dude running the chat. That's that's exploitation.
Yeah.
Right? you think you're talking to a shorty and it's some dude from fucking.
I know, but he's looking for that type of content. Like he's gonna find it regardless.
I mean, yeah, fiends look for drugs. Same type of just liking it to because it's a sickness. You know, porn addiction, I guess it can be labeled as a sickness.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's exploitation, and these are just talking points that I've heard refined. This dude, shout out to It's Complicated. He has this YouTube channel, and he talks to the people in Vegas. It's really dope on mic and stuff, and he has a really dope layering of questions and how he makes a lot of sense, and he kind of spoke to that topic, like about the exploitation.
I got you.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Topic is OnlyFans exploiting men. I think we'll jump on that.
We'll.
Oh yeah, that won't be popular. Nobody will be like, what? Can you imagine a feminist exploiting man? Her head would explode.
We'll definitely make that a topic. But I'll pass it to you, Jerk. What's your feedback from that debate, and then we'll close it off there.
Man, that debate was terrible, and I like where Watch the Screen was kind of pointing to. It definitely highlights us as people, man. We're too distracted to the point where, certain things we shouldn't be looking at it from an entertainment perspective. So I think in that debate now, it just became, like I said, I think Biden missed the opportunity when they're going in and on Donald Trump's personal life where, I wouldn't be like, hey, man, I don't care what goes on in his bedroom. That's none of my business. I'm not a judge. Let's talk about these, like the economy, like you guys mentioned, inflation, stuff like that. That doesn't need to be in a political debate right now. Y'all got like an opportunity to kind of like get both of the presidents, hear our plans and stuff. So I just think, man, we want entertainment so much. We're turning like presidential debates to like Love and Hip Hop and shit, So that was definitely disappointing with the debate style, how they just kept harping on that stuff versus like all the shit that we got going on right now, like real life stuff. I could see if the economy was great, everything was going good, there were no wars. It was like, man, we just got too much shit that we just need to address to be focused on some of that stuff. So yeah, that I think, even the way they structured the debate, like you said, I think that was a good observation. How you said maybe down the line they need to make some changes. Like, and I know Rose gave some different things they should do, but I really think they need to embrace them because it's just like it was kind of all over the place. 30 topics, 2 minutes a piece, and these are like major, global, impactful like topics. So to just hit it for like 2 minutes, like you said, such surface level is kind of was a waste of their time and everybody else's. That like I'm pretty balanced. Like I said, I really want to hear people's things to help make a decision. I was like Watch with that where I ain't get nothing out of it, so it's like you almost got to go dig around for the policies and stuff. So so that definitely just a terrible debate, I think. And Joe Biden definitely lost on that one. So
I think the biggest challenge for both of them was just standing up for the whole debate for like an hour.
And get them cats some walkers and stuff. They was up there struggling.
Get them a chair.
But that would suck, man. Like you said, you just standing up and like I said, sit them down, man. Get a little drink.
Yeah.
Let's modernize stuff a little bit. We could make some changes. Or like you said, like maybe even a
podcast.
Podcast type structure. Rogan
had been calling to have it on his platform for a while and like X and stuff, So
now Joe Rogan's invited Donald Trump, but he wants like a 3-hour pod with Trump. He doesn't want to.
That would be fire.
Whenever Trump does a podcast, it's only like 45 minutes.
He needs to have Trump. He needs to have a couple people.
Joe Rogan said, "I'll do it, but we have to have a real podcast, so we can have a real conversation and not just like a 45-minute conversation. It's not even worth it at that point."
I'm telling you, I'm pushing you, Will. We get them on your platform. You're a pretty balanced guy, so
yeah. But yeah, everybody that watched the entire stream, thank you so much, Lord Punisher, Vin, Phil. A lot of you guys watched the entire stream. Let me know what you guys think. And I know Lord Punisher. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna start talking about a lot more in politics. There's there's a lot of topics I want to discuss and I want to have a conversation with. So politics is one of them. So I'm going to talk about it a lot more in the next few weeks. But as always, go ahead.
Real quick, yeah, because I definitely like the politics. You know, I'm always on board for any topic, but like healthcare reform, education reform, prison reform, all these different things, man. I think like a lot of good people that could come up here and, you know, we could give some suggestions, break stuff down and stuff. So I think I like the direction you going also. So I think those would be some great topics.
The politics, all those issues.
Healthcare.
Definitely reach out to people as well as to bring those people in and we can have a conversation with them. So there's definitely we'll definitely engage in those ideas, Lord Punisher and everybody that's watching. But Jerk, Watch, Rose, always good to have you guys jump on virtually. Make time for this. Thank you so much for always joining the pod.
Damon was on here because I would have slaughtered.
Damon was giving you that work yesterday, Rose. I ain't gonna lie. You was over there looking like Joe Biden.
When's the next stream?
I was waiting for Damon to jump on, but I thought maybe Damon saw Rose. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know.
He's like, look, I gave her that work yesterday. I felt Dame probably felt bad. Dame's probably sitting, burning sage right now. Got his like championship belt on. It's not good, Rose. You hung in there like a champ, though. But Dame.
When's the next stream?
No, next one the same time. We do it every Wednesday, every Thursday. So.
Okay.
Thursday next week is gonna be July 4th, so I won't do one on July 4th.
Okay, that's right. I forgot all about that.
July 4th is next Thursday, but there's definitely a show next Wednesday, but then back to normal after July 4th.
All right, I'm pulling up Wednesday. I don't care what the topic is.
Oh yeah, I got a good one, and I got a good panel. I got a very good panel for next week. But we host this every single week. I appreciate you guys for always making the time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and shout out to everybody on the panel. Make sure you guys support them as well. But we'll see you guys next week on Wednesday. We go live.
Watch the screen. It's tripping. 304s are necessary.